Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Morgantown, West Virginia, an isolated mountain home is the scene of a bloodbath, leaving only one survivor, a crazy story, and possibly some aliens. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week. And welcome everybody back. If it's your first episode, welcome into the den of crazy. You've chosen wisely because this is a weird one. This is definitely a strange episode that you're gonna. Oh boy, it's gonna be one of those ones that people are gonna reference for a while. Like, remember that crazy thing? That was nuts. But thank you so much. If you haven't done it yet, please help us out. And thank you if you have. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars because it helps for some reason. We don't know why, but you go up the charts and that's a good thing. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for everything crime and sports and small town murder. You should listen to Crime and Sports if you haven't, because it's really funny. We'll put it that way. It's funny. It's really not that much about sports, and there's a whole lot of crime and craziness to make fun of there. So check that out. Get your merch over there at the shutupandgivememurder.com, and also tickets to live shows, the full spread of live shows throughout 2022. And there's a couple, I believe, that have tickets at the end of 2021 here as well. So get your tickets right now and get everything else at shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, also, you should listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie because I have to watch Twilight. And, if I'm doing that, please... give me some listens here, and it helps out. I'm doing my part here in the world, so check that out. And another thing you're going to need to check out is Patreon, because it is good. Patreon's so good. The show is, we try to really put on a great show, and it's free. We're just putting it out. So if this is, $5 for all the bonus stuff, oh my goodness, do we put on? We really try hard. We'll put it that way. We feel the desire and the need to really be funny about it. So we have a couple of crazy episodes this week. First, and you have access to everything with your Patreon dollars, of course. First, for the Crime and Sports bonus, we have the Atlanta Gold Club story, which is a big strip club in Atlanta where a bunch of professional athletes went, and then they got in trouble, the strip club, and had a big trial, and all these athletes had to testify about these services rendered therewith under oath, and it is crazy. So check that out. Gross words. And then for the small town murder one, we are going to kind of do off of that Sons of Sam documentary that's out, where they're saying that, David Berkowitz didn't act alone, and there's a whole cult behind him, and they're switching off, tag teaming the shootings.
It's a lot of fun.
And all this. Well, I read the book that's based on, that the whole documentary is based. They're talking about the author, Maury Terry, the book, The Ultimate Evil, all 20-something hours of it on Audible. I read the entire thing, and oh boy, do I have a lot to say about this craziness, because there's some really nutty stuff there and some crazy conspiracy stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So check that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports right now, and you'll get a shout out because you're a producer. So that's a big deal, and Jimmy will mispronounce your name horribly at the end of the show while trying his best to do it right. And if you just want to have good karma and our undying affection and be a producer and get your name mispronounced, you can also do that at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
There it is.
And thank you so much for everything that everybody does, honestly.
You're goddamn heroes.
We need the disclaimer quickly. This is a comedy show. Everything's real. The murders are real, obviously. We don't embellish anything, which is, this week you're going to go, come on. But seriously, we don't embellish anything for comedic value or anything like that. It's just stories are crazy. That's why they're funny, because it's not the murder part that's the funny part. The murder part is sad always. It's always like, oh, that's terrible. But the idea of, I bet we can get away with this, is crazy. And the things that you're going to try to do in that way, it's just crazy. So that's the way we like to do it. We go out of our way not to make fun of the victims or the victim's family, because...
Why?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags, Jimmy.
That's
how it works, everybody.
Yes.
So if that sounds good to you, let's have a good time and hear about a crazy story and all that. And if not, if you don't think true crime and comedy should ever go together, it might not be for you. It might be. You might not. You might have a complete misconception of what you're dealing with here. So give it a shot, but don't complain afterwards if you don't like it. That said, I think it's time to sit back and shout, Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
I would love that.
Let's go on a trip here. Let's get going. We are going down. Oh, but this, by the way, this is episode 227, which is wonderful. And that's just a big shout out to Marla Gibbs. I'll put it that way.
Who?
227, the TV show.
Oh,
remember 227?
All right.
She was, she's Mary. She's not the one saying Mary. That's Jack Gay, but that was like one of my grandmother's favorite shows, so I watched that.
It's hilarious.
All the time. Oh, I love 227. It was hilarious. And Calvin and all that. It's a great show. Anyway, this is the 227 episode, the Mary episode. So we're going to West Virginia again.
Okay.
Our last stop, of course, was Gormania, brother.
Yeah.
Gormania 2021. You may ask.
That was West Virginia.
That was West Virginia. Gormania, brother. I'm coming
Hilarious.
for you. I'm coming for your title at Gormania 25, brother.
And evidently that is what it's called.
It is. No, it's Gormania. So it's amazing. We hit the jackpot.
That might be the best town name in the history of town names.
It's close. It really is. For us, anyway, for
solid,
our purposes. Here we're going to Morgantown, West Virginia, which is a college town. It's where
Is it?
Yeah, it's where the Mountaineers are there, the college.
Got it.
It's in the it's northern West Virginia, which is just a bunch of jutting out panhandles. So this is all, West Virginia is all panhandle all the time. It's wild. And I like, West Virginia seems awesome because, I'll put it this way, it seems like it's a crazy place, but the people there are all like, oh, this place is It's fucking awful, man. Hell yeah. They're like, they wear it as a badge of honor. So I love people like that who don't give a shit and they wear it as a badge of honor as opposed to
they know that it's crazy and they're like, yeah, and I survived this shit. What's that make me?
That's what I mean. They get it. That's what I'm saying. It's all everyone's from somewhere shitty. That's what I mean. Whenever anybody gets upset at us for making fun of a town, it's like, what do we don't think we're from somewhere better. We're just this is just the up on the roasting block. That's all. That's what we're doing. It has nothing to do with let's pick on these people because we're better than them. Not at all. We're awful. No. Listen to the Fishkill episode. I destroy it, rip the place apart. So anyway, Morgantown, all Panhandle. It's about an hour and a half to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so not too far from there. About 3 hours to Columbus, Ohio. You go west. And then about an hour and 20 minutes to Gormania, brother. That's right. Episode 202. Yeah. So it was only 6 months ago. People might ask, why are you going back to West Virginia? Well, we're going back there because we had a different episode planned, actually. I had it planned for 6 months in my schedule. And another podcast, which I won't name, but a podcast that has a lot of listeners and shit, apparently did it like a month ago. And so I was up for 2 days and stayed up till 5:30 in the morning doing this show. And I was so proud of it. It's a really great story. And then I just happened to come across that, and I went, oh, no.
And now you're fighting mad.
It was bad. So here we are. But this is a good story too. It's just I didn't intend to do it this week. Just had to be a pinch hitter, and it's going to come in and hit a home run as a pinch hitter. Don't worry. This is in Monongahela County. Monongahela. What the fuck? Monongahela County. Sorry.
Monongahela?
Monongahela. Monongalia.
Like somebody misspelled Mongolia.
Kind of, yeah. They added an extra O-N in there. It's Monongolia. Monongolia. I don't know what somebody with an impediment of some kind was involved.
Monongolia.
He was shit-faced. Monongolia. Some shit. I don't know. There's coal here.
Yeah.
Area code 304. It's about 10 square miles. The history of this town we'll breeze through here. Now, we got to talk about Colonel Morgan, not Captain Morgan.
No.
There's a man who's thought to have the first permanent settlement here in West Virginia. I mean, not in this town, at Cool Spring Farm. And his name is Colonel Morgan.
Stop this.
His name is fucking Morgan. I'm not kidding, Jimmy. His name is Morgan. Why? He was born in like the 1600s, but who cares? The late 1600s. You're still not naming your kid Morgan. Why have two names?
Never.
Morgan. Hi, Jim. I'm Pietragallo. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Wonderful. Christ.
The only person who can do that is Tony, and at least he spelled it different.
Wasn't that 3 Tonys?
It was 3 different Tonys. There's an I, an E, a fucking accent on one of them. Perfect. This is not working though.
But I think Tony was 3 different dudes named Tony, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I think it was one guy.
I swore it was. I don't know.
I think it was one dude. I always called the one dude.
I don't think I ever saw a video. I just know one song from him. That's all I know. Him, them. I don't know.
That's one. I swear to God, Tony's one guy.
I was pretty sure it was 3 dudes named Tony.
Wow. That just fucked up my early childhood. It's some late 80s shit. Like, oh, man, I always thought that was one guy.
Listen, I'm telling you, I never bought a cassette, and I never saw a video, so I don't know.
One of our minds is going to be blown when we look this up afterwards. You don't have to tweet at us or anything like that. Well, trust me, as soon as this is over, we're going to run to look up Tony. So
one of us is going to lose our shit today.
You know it. So Morgan popped up in West Virginia in 1731, and he was appointed to the Commission of the Peace, which was because they fought a lot. The natives and the settlers fought a lot over West Virginia. There was a lot of haggling over that, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of treaties and deals, and then back and forth. And they fight for a while. It went on for a while. Yeah, it's up there in the woods, so nobody really cared. They didn't know what the hell coal was, I don't think, probably yet. So
it probably wasn't on their plate of demands.
Yeah, I don't think they could drill deep into the earth quite yet. So They said the first permanent. They always say that he was the first permanent resident, Morgan here.
Yeah,
he
was like the sheriff or some shit, leader of the peace,
commission of the peace. I don't know if he was like a negotiating party, maybe to try to. I don't know, work out land deals. I'm not sure what it was.
But he's a colonel.
He's a colonel. He was in military. Okay. He was in the military. He fought in things and everything like that. I mean, he wasn't just saying I'm the colonel. He wasn't, doing that sort of thing. So he had 8 kids, and they were James, Ann, David, Charles, Henry, Evan, Zach Quill.
What?
And then number 8, Morgan the second.
Oh, no. Morgan squared.
Morgan Jr. What the fuck are you doing?
Morgan again.
So Zach Quill ended up, he's the guy who settled this area, quote, settled it, is Zach Quill. He's the first guy who settled this Morgantown area here. And so there you go. He fought in the French and Indian War and also the American Revolutionary War. And he also became a colonel. So There you go. Yeah. Glass ceiling of the Morgans. That's how it works.
Is corporal below captain?
I don't know. I have no idea. It might be.
I don't know that.
We should find that out.
Title hierarchy.
I'm not sure how that goes exactly.
It's got to be lower because there's a lance corporal, right? And that person's below
this is
a corporal.
Colonel, not corporal. Corporal's low, but colonel's higher.
You're right.
Colonel's right. Like I think colonel's below general. Like it's up
Is
there.
it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty high. Colonel.
It might be a big
deal. It's
deal.
above captain.
It's possible.
I think it is. We don't know anything about this because we didn't. We're cowards, so we don't.
Because I was a chicken shit. You're right.
So anyway, the cable television network MTV, you might have heard of, that used to exist. I know it still does, but I mean,
I didn't watch Tony on, obviously.
No, you missed Tony completely. In October 2006, they tape. I guess they said they were going to tape a reality show series about some Morgantown High, their choir. And they do all this shit, and the show was scheduled to premiere in spring of 2007 and never came out. So they were very disappointed about that. Now, reviews of this town, I'll give you a good one first, obviously. And there's a lot of decent ones here. Here's 5 stars. 5 stars. I love Morgantown so much, I'm glad to call it home. That's that's big. It being a small town means there's not a ton of traffic. The people are really sweet and nice, and the college, West Virginia University, is right in the middle of town. And there are multiple elementary, middle schools, and high schools. Well, that's helpful. Yeah, you don't want to just... The kids wander the streets and collect cans and bottles and try to turn them in for nickels. It's a very flowing town with very little crimes.
What does that mean?
Flowing town? Easy. Obsessed with traffic. It's a very diverse place, and I would live here as long as possible. So they love it. Here, 1 star. Not as happy. 1 star. 1.5 years here. 3 of 17 people are kind. That's... I feel like, did they go around with a notebook and keep track? That's a little tally, slash marks, not kind.
Remember when you had to build the little graph in school and you had to go have experiences and then jot down and then make the little bar graph? And perhaps that's what they're doing.
This person's a hardcore journaler here. Really into it.
You had a kind graph I'm building.
Well, it gets funnier. 3 of 17 people are kind. I was punched by my assistant manager and fired.
What? Your assistant fired you? That's called a mutiny, sir.
I feel like he's not the manager. He's an employee, and the assistant manager punched him and then fired him. So you're so bad at this, I'm going to hit you and fire you. I feel like you have to pick one as an employer. You can hit a person because it's the towing bit. He said towing companies will destroy you with capital letters. This guy's got it in. Landlords have been nasty or good, no in between.
Okay.
Very varied. You're always reminded, all capital letters, quote, it's your fault here, no matter the issue. By whom? Who is reminding you all the time?
At least a towing company and an assistant manager.
This is like a serial killer letter. This is crazy.
He's mad.
And the way the paragraphs are, too, it's really weird. No matter the issue, remember that if you move here. I'm sorry to sound so negative. Not much good here, other than the 3 of 17 people being humanly kind. They genuinely met 17 people.
Yeah.
And got 3 of them in the kind category. So Wow. So let's find an in-between here, because those are really different reviews. 2 stars. Okay. I was born and raised in Morgantown. It's a terrible place to raise a family. Alrighty. The students match the number of residents. That's true. It's the half college students. Mm-hmm. While children are growing up, they can be exposed to things at a much younger age than most because of this. There is not, oh boy, college guys going to fuck townie girls. I didn't even think of that. Gross.
Yeah.
The high school girls probably too, showing up at keg parties.
Yeah.
The offensive line of the West Virginia Mountaineers showing up at the fucking keg party. That's not a good thing when you're 17.
The juniors.
Yeah. This is my sophomore, end of sophomore year party. There is not much to do in the summer. It's boring. There are not a lot of jobs except for the hospitals and college. It is a nice place to attend college if you want to party. If you want to party, ? I don't know why there's a question mark. Yes, other than that, go somewhere else. I did. West Virginia, not just Morgantown, is a black hole always trying to suck you back.
Oh.
Wow, that's they hate this place.
It wants you back.
It's just when I thought I was out.
Yeah.
They pulled me back in. People here, population, 30,099, so almost 31,000. Yeah. It's up 16% since 1990, so quite a bit. Everything is a little off here. Male population's 55.5%, which is way off. It's usually more averages with a few more females. The median age here is 24.1.
Okay.
That's
mad young.
Yeah, it's usually 38 almost here.
Right.
18 to 24, that age group is 43% of the population. So that's a very young, they were right. So those are the students, And married population's half of what it normally is, only 25% here.
Right.
Married, all that type of shit. But still not a ton of the single with no children category.
What?
It's like normally it's 10%. Here it's 13%. So these
college kids are fucking.
They are knocking each other up left and right. There is, I don't know what the hell is going on here. If condoms are not available down in the mines or what's happening, but holy shit.
I
Be
did
careful.
not know there were so many parents going to West Virginia U.
It's wild, right? This is insanity, man. That's like. It's so much.
Holy shit.
That's a lot.
Tempe would be chock full of it, too, if it wasn't for abortions.
Oh, yeah, they're just spreading. I don't know if maybe that's not easily accessible in Morgantown or what.
Maybe. I don't know.
Morning after pill, not exactly, as I'm sure in Tempe it's very,
I'm sure
available.
It is.
Yeah, you can get a breakfast burrito in the morning after pill delivered to you, I believe. I think, right? From one of those First Watch or one of those breakfast places. I think they have those down there.
I bet Uber Eats will drop you off a morning after.
They probably will. And a breakfast burrito. In Tempe, anyway.
Leave it at the door, please. I don't want to see your face.
Please leave.
Plan B and a chorizo for you.
Oh, enjoy. I left it on the doorstep, sweetheart. Good luck. And the guy walks away. So
I know your pain, girl. Good luck.
Good luck. Race of this town. 84% white. So pretty white. 5.3% black, which is less than half the average. 4.5% Asian, almost average there, and about 3.2% Hispanic. So it's pretty white. 29% of the people here are religious. It's usually about 50-50. It's always like that with the college kids. They don't. It's like the kids that young, 20 years old, they're like, I am God. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm indestructible and I'm God. And then once people get, as we've seen a ton, if there's a lot of old people in a town, they're less religious too, because they're like, I've lived long enough to see that that's all bullshit too. Like, they don't care. I don't need God anymore. I'm going to die anyway.
Whereas, I'm sure it's a mixture between that and if he existed, he wouldn't give me diabetes and dementia.
Or they forgot that they believed in that they were religious.
That too.
Or any of that. Whereas the middle people there that are like, what's that pain? Is this a lump right here? What is that? Those are the people who are believing more in God. So, it's spread around a lot, actually. A few Catholics, some Methodists here and there, some other Christian faith. Not a lot of Jewish people here, though. That's weird in West Virginia. You expect, mountaintop in West Virginia, you expect a large Jewish congregation, but no. Politically here, it's pretty even. 48.2% voted Democrat in the last election, 49.4% Republican, about 2.4% Independent. So it's pretty even for West Virginia, which is a very red state here, but the college town, so you get a lot of young people.
That evens it out quite a bit.
Unemployment rate here is just a little slightly under the national average, but kind of in the ballpark. Household income is low, but I think you got to also factor in the college jobs aren't for massive amounts of money. So,
nobody that's delivering pizzas is, A, that's not their career path that they're going to be on eventually, and B, this is just to get me by.
Yeah, if you're living on, Grubhub and student loans, that's Grubhubbing and student loans. Average median household income here is about $37,900, so it's about $20,000 under the national average here.
Yeah,
a lot of the jobs are the college. It's 26%. Educational jobs here. That's way above the average. Cost of living, 100 being regular, average, par. Here it's 90, so it's not that inexpensive. 81 for housing. So median home cost here, $188,700. Which, not the worst, not the best, but lower than normal. So if we've convinced you, you need to be here. We have for you a special treat, the Morgantown, West Virginia Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for about $790, which is low. I expected it to be higher because there's a lot of college kids, but there's a shitload of rentals, apparently, so that's why it's lower.
The market is saturated, but also in demand.
It's in demand. I found a two-bedroom, one-bath, 720-square-foot little house. It's like a little house, though. Not a bad house for like a little old lady. I could see like a 75-year-old lady whose husband died, like sitting in there watching TV. Yeah. It would be good. $65,000. So it's pretty reasonable.
Not bad,
Not bad. Found a three-bedroom, two-bath, 2,050 square feet. It's decent. It needs some updating. You're not going to be impressed with the backsplash, but
it's a good size, though.
It's a good size. It's got good bones. If you got a couple of kids, this is a nice place. $138,900. So
not awful.
$138,900 is good. And then let's say, you're doing very well for yourself. You own all the mines. You're the I don't know, you're the dean of whatever the fuck. 4-bedroom, 5-bath, T-bowl for every b-hole, and then extra b-hole for parties. Their extra party b-hole room. 5,645 square feet. Big ass house. And it's very like modern and nice. Backs up to a lake. The backyard is a big yard with a lake, all woods around you, private, 2.5 acres.
My God.
Gorgeous. $1,199,000. So $1.2 million. You're going to pay for it, but I mean that's like the Corleone compound in Lake Tahoe. It's
I've
crazy.
Got so much work to do.
That's a lot. Yeah, you're getting a lot of trimming too going on.
Yeah.
Well, you mean
every day you wake up and you go,
before you can get a $1.2 million house. Yeah, but then once you get there, then you got, oh boy, you got to get a trimmer, some weed whackers. This is a lot. So things to do in this town. I found the Yonderville Fest, they call it, the Great Big Campout. It's at Marvin's Mountaintop, and it's this weekend, right now. If you're listening, to June 10th to June 12th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2021. It's happening. Get your ass there. Now,
to Yonderville.
Good luck finding it, though, because on their website, they're very specific about this. It says, nestled in the rolling hills of West Virginia, Marvin's Mountaintop, just a guy named Marvin who owns that shit, is a place of dreams. Not where they come true, just of having them.
We go here and wish we were somewhere else.
We don't know. From diverse settings around the property to stunning sunsets, Marvin's will make you feel at ease. See below for directions to Yonderville. Do not, and this is all capitalized, by the way, do not follow GPS to Marvin's Mountaintop.
It'll take you to fucking New York.
It said the GPS directions will take you down back roads unsuitable for most vehicles. Instead, print out the following directions. So now it's 2003, and they're going to map
your map question.
And it's literally take this road west to exit 4, get off here. Once on exit, turn left onto this road, go approximately 9.7 miles, turn right at the old barn, and then
left
now
at
I gotta
the old
watch
Anderson
place.
Yeah, now I got to watch the little little white wheel tick on my fucking dashboard?
If we got 9.7, fuck. How many miles did we go? Shit, I forgot to reset it before we did this. Take a left on the depot. Well, it's a lot, man. Oh, boy. Turn left at the T onto Greens Run Long Hollow. Go about 0.3 miles, then turn it. This is crazy. I'm not finding this.
0.3.
This is nuts. So you can go there. And if you're interested, Jimmy, would you like to perform? Maybe you can go do a set of comedy. We can do that. It says performing. I'm interested in performing at Yonderville. Can I apply? You most certainly can. And they just have anybody can. They have a list of bands here, and I've never heard of any of them at all. I'm not going to read them off because it'll take a while, but there's a lot of them, including 23 Odd Cats.
Okay.
That means they had about 23 cats when they were putting that together.
Or they're all odd, and there's 23 of them. They're fucking nuts.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a guy called Dice Man performing. Is Andrew Dice Clay going to be performing there? He's just... What's happening here?
That sounds about right, to be honest with you.
Hey, maybe. Hey, look at you fucking people. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill went up the hill, and they ended up in this fucking shithole. You know what I'm talking about? Oh.
I showed up here because I thought the printout said West Vagina. Where are they?
Oh, yeah, no, we're not going to. So anyway, yeah, it's a bunch of bands I've never heard of. I'm sure there's probably a couple that are people know, but I don't know any of them. So there we go. Moving on. You can there's different ticket options. One is for a tent. You just get in a tent.
Yeah.
One is for car camping, where you can park your vehicle in rows and just sleep in your fucking car, apparently.
Yeah.
You can camp directly in front or behind of your vehicle there. Then they have something called primitive RV camping.
Yeah.
Primitive, I guess. It doesn't include
that's where there's no
electricity.
hookups.
Yeah, no hookups there.
Mm-hmm.
They must purchase. Premium RV camping means, I guess, you go 50 amps of electricity included.
Yeah.
And I guess you can maybe hook your shitter up. There's some late night snacks. And then Hilltop VIP camping, which is that's the best space, too, where you can see all the shitty bands performing.
Yeah.
You got that.
You got a good seat to see the Dice Man.
Yeah. Say, the Dice Man's going, everybody. Hickory dickory dock. Come on. Get to the top of the hill. Hickory dickory dock. This hill's got to have a top. Oh. All right. So it says you can easily park your car near your campsite, pitch a tent, throw up your hammock, and watch the sunset in comfort. When you get thirsty, mosey on over to the VIP lounge, where you can pick up some snacks.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in, obviously. I'm really interested in that festival,
I hope
too.
nobody goes to that.
God damn it. We have to do another bonus episode one of these days of more small town festivals, because I love talking about those, and we don't have time in the top of the show. I don't want to go a half hour of town, so sorry. Property crime, right about average in this town, not too high. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is just below average here.
Okay.
Typical college town, that's kind of what they all are. So that said, let's talk about a murder, because
all right,
why not? You know what I mean?
Let's get this rig rolling. I'm strapped in, James. I'm buckled.
Let's do this.
West Virginia. This is going to get wild.
Let's talk about a guy named Frank Junior Bellotti. Rather than the traditional
That's
Bellotti.
not how it works.
Yep, his middle name is Junior. So if we've learned anything, and if you haven't listened to Crime in Sports, which you should, there's one rule of Crime in Sports, and it's not to name your kid Junior.
Yeah.
And I understand if you have, you'd mean nothing by it. But we have found an inordinate number of our subjects in Crime in Sports are either juniors themselves or have named their kids juniors. Like, ridiculous. It's like half. It's silly, and the amount of it. It's got to be. It's beyond coincidence at this point.
Right.
We thought it was funny for the first 50 episodes, but after almost 300, we're like, this is real. This is crazy shit. So anytime we see anybody with Junior, we're like, uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah. Sociopath behavior coming right up.
Fair or not.
Yeah.
So Frank Junior Bellotti, 2 L's, 2 T's in Bellotti. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit about him. At this point, he would be 37 years old.
Okay.
So, he's 37. He's got a family here that we'll talk about, and his job is not what you'd expect from him. Interesting guy this guy is here. Now, October the 9th, 1982, it's morning time, very early in the morning. Rose Bellotti, who is Frank's cousin, she gets, I believe she's a couple years older than him, too. She gets a call from Frank that morning.
Okay.
I mean, nobody likes to get phone calls in the morning, first of all.
No.
I don't care for
worst.
it. Yeah, I'm not awake yet. I'm not ready for things to happen. But you especially don't want a phone call that makes you like jump into action. That's the worst kind ever in the morning.
Right.
Your heart's not ready for it yet. It's just not. You know what I mean? It starts, oh, God, what's going on? Your body needs...
The worst is when you miss your alarm clock and then you're woken up by your phone ringing at, I don't know, an hour after you're supposed to be awake. That's the most
terrifying.
agitative. Yeah, the heart skips several beats.
It's you're up then though. Then you're awake.
Oh boy, are you? Yeah.
Like I think Rose probably this morning was probably awoken pretty strongly here because gets a call from Frank, who's her, like I said, her cousin in the morning, and he said, "Damnedest thing." Here, I need your help, if you would, there, cuz. Damnedest thing happened. Strangest thing in the world. I seem to have a gunshot wound in my head. Just woke up. Yeah. Just woke up. Can't see out of one eye. Totally blind in my one eye. Yeah. Covered in blood. Absolutely. I mean, I'm head to toe covered in blood.
Slept right through it.
And I appear to be, hold on, it looks like I have a shotgun wound to my face.
Oh, my God, a shotgun.
Shotgun wound to my face. That's a problem, Rose, if you could help me out with that. Oh, by the way, he said he can't see out of one eye and all that, like I said, so he goes around a little bit and then also says, oh, my goodness, my wife and my 2 daughters also appear to have been shot. They're dead, though. They're not alive like he is to make a phone call. Apparently, they are covered in blood and gunshot wounds and scattered throughout the home here, his wife and his 2 daughters. So it's a crazy scene that he awakens to here. And a crazy phone call, like I said. Crazy morning for Rose, I would say.
The 2 of us have had a hell of a morning, Rose.
Yeah, Rose, I got to, I mean, I've had I know your morning's been rough, but I mean, my head, I can't even see. So, he calls Rose, and Rose then calls his other cousin, Samuel James Jim Bellotti. Okay, so Jim Bellotti comes over, which Jim Bellotti sounds like some sort of
sounds like
a jazzercise thing.
Either that or
Wednesday is jazzercise, and then Thursday is Jim Bellotti night, and that's like some sort of tumbling class or something for seniors. Jim Bellotti.
It's a special on some menu somewhere.
Ooh.
Trying to be cute. Yeah.
I'll have the Jim Bellotti. I'll do that. No capers, though. Yes, thank you. I don't like the capers on that.
So you know what I'm not hearing a lot in what's happened so far is we've called the police. What is the fuck is happening?
2 phone calls have been made, neither of which are either for medical assistance or authority figures of any kind. Neither of which this is. Okay.
We're calling cousins.
I get you wake up shot in the face and you don't, maybe you're not in your right mind. Your whole family's dead. Maybe you pick up the phone and you see, what's my, I remember this number quick because that's my cousin or she's speed dial 1 or something, and you call her and you go, hey, how you doing? Cause I'm shot in the face. But then at that point, why would she not go, I'll call the fucking cops and ambulance for you? Call you right back.
The only reason I'd be talking to my cousins is if they accidentally called and I'm like, I'm just sitting here waiting for the police. Let me tell you about what happened today.
I got a story for you now. Woo, boy. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
What did you
I don't
do
even
this morning?
I don't even call my cousins on Christmas, James.
No. You mean you don't call them when your family's dead and you're shot in the face on a morning? No. How are they going to help more than the ambulance? Right. It's the other problem. The guy.
What a fucking bizarre chain of phone calls already.
Strange instincts already. But this is like. It's a weird thing because we are in a very isolated area. This is like it's just outside of Morgantown, very isolated hilltop house with nobody fucking around, basically. Okay. So it's like but the family isn't like, they're not hill people. They're not like the whites of West Virginia or anything, as we'll find out. They seem to have decent amounts of money. They own a bunch of property. They have, they have like professions. It's
okay.
It's
they
not
figured it out, but still they're calling cousins when they're injured.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still West Virginia. Let's be realistic here. They
unless Rose is the sheriff and the other cousin is the paramedics, why are we calling them?
They still shot at the Tennessee Valley Authority people back in the day. We don't want no electricity around here.
Yeah.
If it means you coming on my property, I don't need it. Firing fucking rifle shots at him. So West Virginia has a history, and this isn't even a bash on West Virginia. It has a history of being rebellious of a certain nature, and people there's a lot of some backwoods shit going on, and that's kind of what's up here. But they call old Jim Bellotti for assistance here. Now Jim, rather than going, well, I should probably call somebody, right? His thing is, at least he stops the chain of phone calls. I'll give him that. But he says, I'll be right over.
Okay.
I'll be what? No.
Meeting the cops?
Who? Yeah, with the cops. I called the cops. I'll be there too. That would be one thing. Like, the cops are on their way and I'll be there also. Or the ambulance is on its way. I'll also be there. He just said, I'll go see what's going on here with with old fucking Frank here. I don't know what Frank's thinking. So I guess when he arrived there, Rose was already there and met Jim at the gate. and said, all right, Jim, I got some filling in. I filled in some blanks. Remember I got on the phone. I told you just shot in the face, family dead. That sounds like, bad stuff. Somebody came in the house, mowed everybody down, shot him in the face, so thought he was dead, but mission accomplished. Apparently, she says, he shot everybody. So that's what happened.
Oh, Jesus. There's a reason not to call.
He shot his family, apparently. Okay. So that would be why he called me instead.
Right.
But you're shot. So rather than calling an ambulance, they go, let's take him to the hospital. Mm-hmm. What? He's shot in the face. I think they don't even call the police or the ambulance to say there's a dead family in there.
Right.
And I'll tell you how old the kids are and all that stuff in a minute. There's 2 kids in this house and his wife. This is
let's get him patched up before we deal with them. They're going nowhere.
I mean, he says his head is bothering him something fierce, and I understand because his eyeball is hanging yonder. It's hanging toward Yonderville, toward Marvin's mountaintop. The way it sounds like he got shot sounds like in the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia when the dude describes how he got shot by his nephew, and he's like, "Then I pushed my eyeball back in, and I lifted my
situated my face,
and opened it up so I could see out of my eye." I was like, "Oh my God, you're the toughest man in the universe." So that's what this sounds like, though. Like his wounds sound.
Nobody's ever put their face back on after being shot to handle the situation.
That's the weird part. Is like I felt for my eyeball. And then I stuck it back in the eye hole, and I had to feel my skin flaps and wipe the blood away so I could form an eye socket with my skin.
And then I told him, now you get off my property.
Yeah. And then I finished the yard work, but then I went to the emergency room. I mean, I was almost done weed whacking. I wasn't going to leave it there.
That's the most shocking part of that entire thing is that he's sitting there telling that story, and then you're like, who got you? That guy got you? He looks great.
He looks fine. And he's talking about it like it was very matter of fact, not even like, and then this happened. Hold on, give me 1 second. He was just like, some bitch shot me in the face. I was like, why'd you do that? Stuck my eyeball in and was like, God damn it, what's your fucking problem, buddy?
Maybe he wasn't shot, though, and he just tells people that because then you see him and you go, well, you look great. Because for a man that got shot, he looks outstanding. But as a normal guy that has not been shot,
not a handsome
great-looking guy.
No, but with a guy who had to have half his face put back on.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
That's amazing.
Look at you. You're a movie star.
I'm going to tell everybody that. I was shot once.
I was shot right in the face. It was bad. It was bad. With a shotgun. Point blank. I didn't even look like this before. It was weird. Just pick a picture of anybody and be like, this is my old face. This is what I used to look like. A very handsome man. A very handsome man, and just be like, it was tragic, really. I
just meet everybody. I am so sorry about you don't look that bad. Well, look, I used to look like this, but I was shot in the face.
That's my modeling career. It was bad. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. It was so bad. I had to eat more.
I'm so sorry.
Gained a couple of pounds, and it's depressing. You know how it is, though. You just need to be nursed back to health. So Rose and Jim take Frank to Monongalia General Hospital.
Right. Mongolia.
Mongolia General Hospital. So who the fuck is this guy anyway? Frank Jr. Bellotti. I think we need to know a little of his background of why he's shot in the face, why his family's shot, and why he's calling other people other than an ambulance in this situation.
Yeah.
So let's go back to 1958, where I actually I found a newspaper article featuring him when he's 13 years old.
Oh,
which is pretty amazing. I'm going to show you here. I'll tilt the monitor towards you.
Have a look. See it.
Here you go.
Oh, is that a car? What he got? Is that a deer in the fucking passenger seat?
No, it's not a Tommy Boy situation.
No, what is that?
It's a deer across a hood.
Oh, okay.
He's 13 years old, and there's like Jesus Christ, it looks like, what is that, a Buick, maybe? A big-ass, giant 50s Buick with
It's an old-ass car, yeah.
With a deer strewn across the hood of this goddamn thing.
He wasn't 13 driving the car and hit a deer?
He actually wasn't, which is good, thankfully.
Okay.
I don't know why this would be in the paper, but for some reason, not a lot going on that day. It says, proud, happy youth. And there's him all proud next to a carcass, which is a funny thing for a guy who just got pulled out of that situation, that his first appearance in the press is next to something dead.
For shooting something. Did he shoot it? He hunted it.
Well, it says here, Frank Bellotti Jr., he's the first one since Otis Nixon, Jimmy.
Yeah.
First person we've ever found who's Frank Jr. Bellotti Jr.
Jr. Oh, my God.
So he could be Jr. if you just drop the Frank.
He's a Dub June.
Dub June, Junior squared. We've had this once in I think we're up to almost 500 episodes of podcasts of both of our shows. We're this close to it, and we've had two people with the middle name Junior, and they're also a junior. That's impressive.
I want his dad's middle name to not be Junior, and just like Otis, where they just are idiots.
They just decided to name him that.
They're just dumb.
So it says he's at this time of 801 University Avenue, which is not out in the sticks. So like his family is, they're not like hill people here. They're not the whites. Ran all the way home from school yesterday for his father, who had been hunting all day, had promised to pick him up and take him deer hunting. So apparently Dad didn't pick him up at school like he was supposed to and take him deer hunting. And so he ran all the way home looking for his dad. And it says Frank Jr. was in the woods about 20 minutes near Brown's Chapel when he downed a 200-pound doe on the first shot. It was also his first deer that he ever killed, so he looks very thrilled about that. P.S. Frank Sr., who spent the entire day in the woods, had no luck. So
Dad got skunked, the little guy.
Frank Sr. went out at sunrise. Didn't pick his son up like a dick.
Right.
Karma bit him in the ass. He got nothing. His son ran all the way there, got into the woods, was like, barely got his shit loaded, and took down a fucking deer, and then was like, all right, peace out, Dad. I'm going to go home now. I'm going to throw this on your hood. Cool?
And they went hunting in a car. Who goes hunting in a fucking car?
Just in a Buick.
You strap it. You drive that shit off into the woods, and then you strap a deer to the hood.
To the hood? I don't even know how he can see out of the windshield.
Yeah.
The thing is huge across the. You saw it. It's like you thought it was in the passenger seat. It's enormous.
It looked like they hit it, and it got lodged in the fucking windshield.
First, it's really weird. So there's that. Then I found, so that's him at 13. Yeah. Then I found 1967 Frank Bellotti.
Okay.
And Frank Bellotti in 1967, he's already gotten married, and we'll get into his wife in a second. We won't get into her, but we'll talk about her in a second here.
Maybe we will.
Who knows? He's driving a 1966 Mercury, and at 2:17 p.m., he and a 1964 GM truck operated by a 40-year-old man named Carl Uphold ran into each other at the corner of High Street and Pleasant Street. Some $225 in damage was reported. And
how much were those cars?
More to come on that also, because that's not also the only thing that happened here. But his wife, Carolyn, he meets Carolyn Sue Lakatos as her name, and they get married in, I think, 64. And so she's Carolyn Sue Bellotti. And I find her in a one-car accident as well here, which is, did he get her on High Street? He got hit at the corner of, he got in an accident at the corner of High Street and Pleasant in 67. Right. Then in 69, she got an accident on Prairie Avenue between South High Street and University. That's pretty wild. Near there, maybe. Close. I don't fucking know. She was cited for failing to keep her vehicle under control. Mm-hmm. Which I get in 1969, if a woman and a man got in an accident, they'd be like, "I'll write this lady a couple of tickets because I'm sure she was putting her goddamn makeup on or having her period or something. I'll just write her up." Yeah,
but a single car accident, James, that's certainly failing to keep your car under control.
No, it is because this is a 1969 Chevrolet she's driving, so brand new car too, 69 and 69. She was driving, apparently went out of control and hit a utility pole.
Yeah.
That's not
good. Those
Camaros
are fast.
Oh, boy, just squealing out. She's ripping
I want to know what kind it was. Was it a Nova?
It doesn't even, I couldn't find that. It's hard.
Just a 69 Chevy.
Yeah, it's difficult. I had 69 Chevy. It's the only piece of literature or publication I could find on the subject.
I want it to be a badass Camaro.
It was 5:38 p.m. It was $975 in damage, which back then was like half the price of the car.
Right.
Basically, she fucked that thing up good. And Oh, boy. Oh, there's another. That's not her. So, okay. And then there's another one here. This is for him. This is for Bilatti's accident here. He apparently was appearing before the justice of the peace because apparently he was drunk during that accident.
Oh,
and it's a charge of driving under the influence of alcohol, and he's fined $50. Given he has to pay $8 in court costs, and you, sir, may fuck off. Had his license revoked for 6 months as well. So
that's steep.
He's got the steep one. He might have. That might not be in his first runaround. Maybe you never know.
Well, and he caused damage while behind the wheel, and they take that shit pretty serious, even in West Virginia.
So if you hit somebody. I found they do have their shit together, this couple, though. I found the birth announcement of their first daughter in the newspaper, so they had their shit together enough to, put an ad and put a thing in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you have to. People who don't care at all don't do that. So that's something. It's their first child, and it's the birth of their first child, Andrea Jo. And they end up having 2 daughters. They have Andrea Jo, and then they have Francie 2 years later. Mm-hmm. That's their second daughter. So, by 82, they are 16 and 14 years old. By that night we talked about.
Yeah,
16
girls,
and 14. So, apparently, I found another thing here where Frank he's a little rebellious. We'll put it that way. I found a bunch of things where he fights a ticket to the point where it's in the newspaper because he's just won't give in. It's fucking interesting, apparently. They made a street, a one-way street. They just changed it over and rezoned it a one-way street. So the cops were giving everyone a ticket who was going on it. Because they didn't know, though, a lot of the people. So apparently it says Mrs. Frank Bilatti, she doesn't even have a name, and her husband were on their way to a concrete business, Monday morning when they failed to notice the new sign and automatically turned down the one-way street. They'd been here before, and they just went the route they normally go on. So this is Carolyn's statement. 2 cars were stopped on the street in front of us. We were told by a policewoman to proceed like the cars before us. We were given tickets by a second police officer in the street for going the wrong way in a one-way street. So she's saying that she got a ticket for following an officer's directions.
Oh, a cop told me to go this way, and then you give me a ticket? Yeah.
Yeah. So then she says, quote, my husband asked the policeman if he couldn't give him a warning ticket, but we were given a ticket and told to appear before Stanley Solomon for a hearing there. Then she says, why weren't the cops at the top of the street informing people of the change? It was an innocent mistake on our part. The sign is very deceiving. Way out in the middle of the island at the end of the street. They're not going to do this. They're not doing this for the people. They're doing this to get money for the town of Osage. It's another town. And people are lining up wrong way on that street unwittingly like a bunch of sheep waiting for a cop to give them a ticket.
Okay.
To the slaughter with you. They were, she said, quote, we were going to order 9 yards of cement from Mr. Morris, but we turned around and left. So she's saying you're screwing up commerce by making people not want to go there.
We're going to buy local and you're giving us shit.
God damn it. And this guy says, he points out that his customers now have to go up the road and 1 or 2 miles around and through the whole town. Apparently that was the only road to his shop. Now they have to go all the way around the back way. And, he's pissed off, this guy.
Who got this shit changed? Because that guy should have a talk with them.
So he ends up going all the way to this, where there's a headline, traffic hearing was not held, bond forfeited. He had taken this all the way, talked to the press and all this shit, and he forfeited his $20 bond. That's what he did here. He said, fuck it, I give up. He finally gave up and said, screw it, which is hilarious. Then I found they did some business and property things that I found as well here. Apparently, he got approved to change an old church into a flower shop. Okay. He had to put that through the town. And after that, he's a florist. He's always listed as being a florist.
Frank is?
Frank is. So from 76 to 82, he's a florist who has his own flower shop.
That's great. I mean, he's a business owner, but...
Yeah, it's just a
strange business. Yeah,
it's not a strange, but it's strange for him. You don't expect this guy who's, I just saw him in the paper next to a carcass, and he's like, I'll arrange those flowers lovely for you. You know what? I understand you're grieving over your dead grandmother. I'm going to put together the most beautiful She would have loved this, honestly.
Maybe that was the first time he built a wreath for something dead. You know, he made a salt lick wreath for its mom.
He was happy in that picture, but then he grieved.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I'm going to make an arrangement. I just don't feel right. He made a little memorial out there, like when somebody dies on the street and somebody gets in a car accident, there's a makeshift.
Right.
He just puts some stuff out there. He's clipping flowers, and he goes, hey, I'm pretty fucking good at this. Yeah. Natural talent, you know what I mean? All right. Another time here, apparently they also have some income from properties as well.
Okay.
So they have a bunch of property, and I saw when Frank Sr. died in the mid-'60s, I saw a big property transfer to Rose and Frank Bellotti. Rose is also his mother's name. He has a cousin named Rose and a mother named Rose. I assume the cousin's named after his mother, who's probably his sister's, whatever. I bet the mothers are sisters, and that's what you get. So there you go.
Better be, yeah.
Anyway, they ended up, they put in a request to the town to feed the effluent. I guess that's shit water. Effluent, not affluent.
Yuck.
From 20 units in a trailer park into the city sewer system.
Yeah.
So we want to dump our trailer shit in with everybody else's trailer shit. Is that all right with you? They are asking permission to feed the effluent from the trailer park into the city sewer system and said they will build and maintain the sewer from the park. So they'll build it to the sewer system. They'll get it there. Not asking for help with that.
Yeah.
But they need
permission. Yeah.
Apparently they gave them permission to do that. So
where does it go right now?
That's what I was wondering. Is maybe a septic tank, like a giant septic tank or something, and they're like, this is unsustainable with 20 units.
Right.
That's a lot of shit going on.
It's
a lot of shit.
Filling the pool with it.
Yeah. We're going to go back to the days of the shit buckets of Phillips, Oklahoma there. That was the greatest one, that map. I don't know. I have the map of the house, and it says bucket out there. That's where they went to the bathroom on the porch. That was wild. So anyway, they end up doing that. So they own a trailer park that has 20 units. Yeah. So that's income. So they have a lot.
Rent every month.
They have property. Also, their property has like another property on it. There's some stuff going on, but they live outside of town on a mountain. A newspaper will call it, quote, an isolated hilltop home.
Okay.
In West Virginia. So that, like I said, shooting at the Tennessee Valley Authority, God consarn it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So apparently the last couple years he's turned into a bit of a I don't want to say a survivalist, because he's not. That's kind of a hobby that people have unless they take it to an extreme.
Right.
It's almost like a hobby. Like, hey, I'm collecting end of the world shit, like, hey, look at all my cans. You know what I mean? It's a weird hobby people have. And then some people go way crazy with it, obviously.
And they like go to the surplus store and get all kinds of military shit. And
they get
those are the nutty ones.
Or they go like Christopher Walken Blast from the Past underground shelter, like that one in Vegas that we looked at. Remember I showed you the pictures? It had like the guy built an underground bomb shelter in Vegas in like the 50s. And it's like a giant, it's like 3,000 square feet down there, like this crazy, it looks like outside, basically. Yeah. It's just sort of like Blast from the Past, but he actually built it. It's crazy.
I've heard of guys burying buses, too, and shit like that.
They do that a lot.
In those.
That's kind of
That's really nuts.
That's what they do drug trafficking in a lot of places, I saw, too. They'll have like giant grow operations, like in South America and places like that are underground in a series of buses that have been all designed to.
So it's super long.
Yeah, there's long. They have hallways. It's like a whole system down there of like all these hallways, and it's all these buses that are buried. They do that. That's how they do it. So it's an interesting thing. But here, he was telling people some weird shit. He said that he was apparently arming himself here and stockpiling weapons and other things that we'll get into here because he was worried of some sort of invasion up the hilltop.
Okay.
Or down onto the hilltop.
From above?
From above. Either or. He's afraid of both. He's afraid of people coming for him. He's also afraid of possibly being visited by aliens and having them kill his whole family. So he's worried about both these things for a while here. Apparently, they said in the newspaper, it said that his home, he turned it into basically an armed camp with stacks of weapons in each room by windows strategically placed, like stacks, like rifles stacked up and like.
That's not how you store those.
No. But he would for quick distribution. Yeah. I don't know who else there's 4 people in the house. He's got like 50 guns around for defense. I don't know who he's thinking is going to use all these guns.
Yeah.
I don't know how many guns he thinks his 14-year-old daughter is going to wield at one time. But probably not that many.
That might be the smarter move rather than just buying a bunch of magazines and loading them all. Own a bunch of guns that are already all loaded, and then you don't have to worry about changing mags.
Shoot them off, throw the gun to the side, pick up another one, fire it off. It's really an odd strategy, right?
That's very Bruce Willis. I like that better.
It's the weirdest home defense strategy I've ever heard. You think you get a few guns and stockpile ammunition, it's funny. In like World War II, we didn't give our guys, here's 60 guns, get out there and battle. Here's a gun and a bunch of bullets. Here's 60 guns, all loaded to the T. All right, go ahead. Just throw it on the ground when you finish with it. Don't worry about it.
Put all these slings over your shoulders.
Yeah, just carry them. I know it's going to be heavy, but you're going to want those extra guns. I'm telling you. You're going to need them. So, yeah, he's got stockpiled weapons, like even in his daughter's rooms. He's got them like stocked by the door. All of this shit. He basically turned his home into a fortress, complete with gas masks set up on pegs.
Jesus.
Ones that were stenciled mommy and daddy on them. Those are mom's gas mask and dad's gas mask. This is your little pink one for Francie. There you go, sweetheart. She loves pink, so I got her a nice pink gas mask so she won't be so afraid of it.
I'll get you one when you outgrow that one, too.
Yeah. So he's prepared for anything. Invasions from above or below, including chemical attacks, apparently. I don't know.
Shit.
I don't know what made him think that Morgantown, West Virginia is a major site for a chemical attack. I don't know what,
That's where the battle's really going to get heated and kick off.
I mean, I get that it's the 80s, it's the Cold War, he's thinking the Russians, but I know what targets they're going to hit, and it's Morgantown first and foremost, goddammit. I mean, they're going to go after New York and L.A. eventually again.
I think it'll start elsewhere, and you will have time to go get yourself a gas mask.
It's oh shit. No, what are they doing? All right, they'll get here eventually.
Yeah,
this is Yeah, so he's being a little weird, but still operating, still doing everything. He's not like sitting in his house with the gas mask on and the rifle cocked, sitting by the window all the time. He's just. This is like his thing that he does also. Like, got some more guns. Okay, sure. So the first week of October 1982, he's seen by a few people because this happened the night of October 8th and into the morning of the 9th. So one man is Jeff Nichols, is one of these guys. He delivered a load of firewood to the Bilotti residence on October 7th. And he said that, Frank was normal at the time. He was doing fine. Didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. Another woman, Janet Hertig, who was an employee at Nature's Garden, which was a greenhouse that Frank owned. So now he had a flower shop and a greenhouse too. So,
good Lord. So he's growing them and selling them.
Yeah, he's got it nailed. I mean, that's if you don't have to buy it from someone.
No supplier? Fuck suppliers. I get it on my own.
I do it on my own. This is great. He's got this is like having a field of weed at your disposal and selling weed. It's wonderful. And a dispensary. So he's got that. She said that she thought he was in a bad mood when he didn't, because Carolyn worked there too. And so on October 8th, that evening, he came to pick Carolyn up from the greenhouse. And Janet said that Frank didn't say hello to her. Okay. So she thought he was just in a bad mood, though. He was grumpy. She didn't know if maybe they were fighting, him and Carolyn, or whatever, how people are.
Listen, man.
He was just like grumpy, like, I'm picking her up, fuck off. So whatever ended up happening, she thought he was a little bit weird there. Now, Beth Ann Finley, she's a woman who rents part of a house from Frank. Not the house they live in or anything like that, but another house. He's got a bunch of properties. Maybe it's one of those trailers with this city shitter now. So we don't know. We're shitting with the city now.
Yeah.
So she said that she didn't notice anything different or strange or anything like that. And she saw him on like successive days before all this happened. So everybody says he seems, if anything, maybe a bit grumpy, but not, if every time I was a bit grumpy, people assumed I was going to have some kind of meltdown and shoot people. Honestly, we'd never get anywhere. Anywhere. I'd constantly be
every time there was a greasy bun or
Jesus Christ. Yeah, anything unacceptable like that.
Right.
I'm easygoing except for a few things. That's it. I don't want my hands to be greasy. Right. That I can't take. And I don't mean greasy like car grease or like dirt or filth. I don't mind dirt or filth. That's great. That's all good. Grease from like a hamburger. I don't want that on my hands or face. I don't want mayonnaise anywhere near my food. That's another thing that I can't handle. And when I fucking schedule a show 6 months in advance, I'd like to do the goddamn fucking show and tell everybody else to not and leave it alone. So all my goddamn work doesn't go for nothing. Sorry. So October 8th, 1982 comes around, though. And at this point, Frank is, why not? He's got a greenhouse and he's a florist. He's a daily weed smoker. So he's a mountaintop weed smoking, fucking good time having fella at this point, except for the gas masks and the weaponry. I don't know if he grows weed in the greenhouses or what, but I mean, if you're in West Virginia and you're not, you've blown it. If you're a daily smoker and you have if I had a greenhouse at any point in my life, there's no possible way I wouldn't be growing some weed in there. There's just not a possible way. Yeah, right. It's going to happen. He's also, during this time, right up to in this week, taking amphetamines prescribed for weight loss. Oh. Which we don't know what they are, but in 1982, they just give you speed for weight loss. You could get speed over the counter for weight loss, basically, back then. So something prescribed has got to be like, heart exploding. Right. It's basically meth, and they give you a pipe. And
what?
No, that's probably what it is. Here's some meth and a pipe, and here's some Brillo pad for you. You can stick that in there and use it as a screen. They're giving you.
It was a pill that came with a razor blade and a straw.
That's what it was. And the back of a toilet bowl.
Right.
That's the other thing. The back of a toilet. In true wild and wonderful whites of West Virginia fashion, where you. Right. That's where you snort your shit from. The back of a toilet
place.
Bowl. Where else would you do it, Jimmy?
Didn't they snort it and then rub their fingers on it and put it in their mouth?
Fuck yeah, they did. They were all over that shit.
They were so gross,
hovering over it. And this was not a nice bathroom. It's not like they went to a 5-star hotel and used the lobby bathroom. This was
a stall with piss on the walls of the stall.
Piss if
and
you're lucky.
And it was the ladies' room.
Yeah, piss if you're lucky.
Yeah.
This was a bar that allowed men to play slot machines while not wearing a shirt.
Right.
Think about that. They don't even have a policy. When's the last time you went to a bar that allowed a man with no shirt to just hang out? And when's the last time you saw a casino where people were allowed to gamble shirtless? That's never happened.
And where the band, in between sets of songs, comments on the patrons and the girls that they fucked.
Yeah. Whoa, look at you, honey. Yeah, Sue Bob.
There goes Sue Bob with the titties.
Oh, yeah, with them titties. I was like, whoa, this is fucking weird. Shit's getting weird, man.
What a place.
What an interesting place. So... This isn't quite that, though. This Morgantown isn't quite that. But up in the hills here, it's a different story. So he apparently, for 3 days prior to October 8th, he hasn't slept. Okay. Frank. He's been smoking weed, doing amphetamines that were prescribed for weight loss.
Hell yeah.
Freaking out about possible attacks on the compound, making floral arrangements, picking up rent, checking on plants on a greenhouse, and not sleeping at night at all. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this hero bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
He said that he was basically plagued by a persistent sense of paranoia. Yeah. He's very paranoid about everything. So everybody's an enemy right now to him. Okay. It's interesting. So apparently he returns home on October 8th after he picked up his wife, and he said that he rolled up a joint, and him and his wife smoked some weed, fucking hung out. They smoked a joint together, kicked back on the porch, which that's nice. That's a nice after-work thing to do.
Not a bad day, yeah.
There you go. And then he said after that, this is his quote, I couldn't make this up, Jimmy. This is only a small-town murder suspect would do this. His quote is, quote, "The intensity of my feelings intensified." So he heard the word intense, and he's like, "That's the thing that I feel. I couldn't describe it, but I heard intense. Right. I could feel that word." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then that's the only word he used because he didn't bother to find any synonyms at all. So the intensity of my feelings intensified. It's what they tend to do, buddy. What are you talking about, sir? Jesus Christ, man.
Extremely want to do extreme things.
You know what I'm saying? Stupid is as stupid does, brother, and that's all there is to it. The intensity of my feelings intensified. Great. Yeah. So he said he was nervous and paranoid. And when, wow, this is wild. Once his intensity of his feelings is intensifying, he says that, quote, "a great light about the size of a flame." I don't know what that means because flames come in all different sizes. Yeah. I've seen flames that are the size of a house in an explosion, and then I have my lighter here that has this flame. Those are both flames, so I don't know. But about the size of a flame came... Jesus Christ, imagine him saying it, came shimmering down off the wall and lit right on our hands and sat there. That's what he said. That's his quote. Quote, "A great light about the size of a flame came a-shimmering down the wall and lit right on our hands and sat there." Okay. That's his claim now at that point. So...
both of our hands? We both got a light?
Apparently both of their hands. I don't know, just on their hands. I don't know. It came shimmering down and lit right on our hands and sat there. I don't know what this light is. A great light.
It's intense.
It started in the ceiling because they're in the house, and then it went down the wall. I don't know what's going on. So at this point, has Carolyn, because, I mean, she's got to be like, Jesus fucking Christ. I put up with the rifles and the gas masks and the, I did all this shit, but great lights on my hands now. This is enough with this fucking guy. Like, seriously. Oh, my God. Jesus. Now he's smoking weed. I thought it would calm him down. Instead, it makes his intensity intensify.
Yeah.
I can't win here. She says, tell you what, let's go up on the upstairs on the second floor of their house. There's a deck that has a nice view. So she says, let's go outside. Let's go out on the deck upstairs and get some air. What do you say? That'll make you feel better. There's no great lights out there. I'm not taking him near a moon if he's freaking out about a great light in the house. Oh, man, it's all full of great lights. The whole sky. Oh, Jesus. They're going to come down and get us. Yeah. Put your gas mask on, sweetheart. There you go. Nope, that's the daddy one. You get the mom. That's one's yours. There you go, honey.
Yeah.
So... no great lights apparently there. So they go to get some air. When they're getting air, he says that he passed out twice.
Mm-hmm.
Passed out, cold. Was standing there.
With fire on his hands.
Fire on his hands. This is when they get up to the deck. But got up there, standing there. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah. Oh, listen to that. What kind of animal you think that is? Pow. Just out cold on the deck. Passed out. Whatever. His intensity was so intense that it intensified him down to the deck.
Yeah.
He was intensely passed out on the deck after that. So he passes out, gets back up. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, oh, man, that sounds like a fox. I don't know what that is. And then a couple minutes later, out cold again. Just boom, down. Man down.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Carolyn's like, Jesus fucking Christ. What the hell with this guy? This fucking guy. Wouldn't you just go inside at this point and close the door?
You might.
I'm going to bed. So once he regains his consciousness the second time around, he said at that point, he describes himself as, quote, in a frenzy. The most intense form of intensity, a frenzy. He's so intense at this point, Jimmy. He described himself in a frenzy. And he said at that point, he picked up a .45 handgun that he had sitting around. Because he's got guns everywhere, waiting for the invasion, of course.
Right.
So he picks up a .45, and that's what he did. He said he picked it up, and he went in the bedroom to, basically hole up and sit there with his .45 and wait for whatever's coming for him.
Yeah.
Now, this is some seriously delusional behavior. Like if he was doing amphetamines for 3 days and not sleeping, this is the kind of behavior that people exhibit at that point.
Yeah.
They're going to get me, and you're hiding out, and that sort of shit. So he ends up. He said at some point he put the .45 down. Put it down and picked up a shotgun instead, a 12 gauge.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's not hell yeah yet.
But that's the one. That's the one you do for home defense.
The house defender. Yeah, that's the hallway sweeper.
Right.
That's that's the they call that the Roomba. The loud Roomba to sweep your hallway, buddy.
It's gonna make dust too.
That's right. It's gonna make some dust. Sweep that shit right on up after it. So. According to him, he said that he locked himself in the bedroom, put the .45 down, at some point picked up a 12 gauge shotgun, and then he says that he started firing the shotgun. He says,
"What?
Quote, at an enemy of some kind." Because he'd been invaded at that point, he said. So
and he knows it's here. Yeah.
He knows it's here, and he was firing at the enemy of some kind, but it's sort of it's a mystical light energy, so I mean it's hard to describe it. So it's difficult.
On things, and it's a little flame.
So this happened between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. on this night. This occurs in the upstairs hallway of the family home. So he's not in his bedroom, locked in the bedroom, even though that's what he says he remembers. Instead, he backed Carolyn and Andrea, his wife and his 16-year-old daughter. He backs them up against the hallway wall opposite the master bedroom. And shoots them multiple times.
Wow.
He backed them up against a wall, Jimmy, like this St. Valentine's Day fucking massacre.
That's horrific. By dad.
That's what I mean. Think about that. They must have been saying, what are you doing? Stop. Right. We're not fucking invading. Like I don't know what's going on, but the horror that you must be thinking of. Like, Carolyn probably knows a little more about it. Like, not that she expects this, but I mean, she's probably like, oh, fuck. Because any crazy thoughts the guy's going to have, he's probably going to tell. I'm sure he's told his wife some weird shit. Like, he told her about the light and all that shit, and he's passing out and all that stuff. So Carolyn's like, this guy's weird, but the daughter probably doesn't have any idea that it's this serious, because you try to hide that shit from your kids. Obviously, you don't want. Yes, Daddy is fucking cuckoo crazy for Cocoa Puffs, insane. He's out of his fucking mind. Absolutely. Don't go near your father, kids. Like, you don't want to say that.
She's certainly got questions, though, and
16.
This is very scary.
16, you notice when Dad's being weird. You know, like you're not going to let that slide when Dad's being why are there rifles stacked up near my bedroom window is a question you'd ask. Why do I have a fucking gas mask with flowers on it? Why was this on my pillow today when I got home? It's weird stuff. So he backs up, like I said, his wife and his eldest daughter against a hallway wall and shoots them multiple times, both of them. So that's I don't even know how you do that. Like, how crazed you have to be. And then Francie, the 14-year-old, the theory is she heard this going on and fucking took off, because clearly there's no reasoning with Dad, because they probably tried to reason with Dad. And so she took off and started running down the hallway away from the situation, and he shot her in the back.
Oh, no.
He shot his 14-year-old daughter in the back as she tried to run away from him. That is
extra,
That's one of the. I say it a lot, but it's always true when I say it. That's one of the worst fucking things you could possibly do. Yeah. To say, you can't shoot people in the back. Number one, even if someone breaks in your house, once they start running away from you outside the house, you're not allowed to shoot them anymore.
You've
once
won.
It's in the back, then it's murder. Like, to shoot your 14-year-old running in terror from you, number one, should wake you up to go, oh my God, I'm a monster. But instead you go, can't let her get away, and shoot her in the back with a fucking 12 gauge down your hallway. That is beyond disturbing. I don't even know what the fuck to say about that. That's beyond disturbing. So that's what he does. They all, all three of them are dead. Yeah. So it's 2 shots each for Andrea and Carolyn, and then Francie, one in the back.
Just the one?
Just the one in the back.
Oh, dear Lord. I hope she was knocked out. That's just so much.
It was close range, so hopefully it was quick. That's all we can possibly hope for. No, that's the thing. So that's awful. So I don't even want to know about the autopsy report. Luckily, I couldn't get autopsy reports on this one or anything like that, because I don't want to know, like, oh, she was probably alive for fucking 20 minutes. Something like that. I don't want to hear that. So after this, shoots his wife and his 2 children. He goes on in the bedroom and decides, well, I guess that's it for me, and takes a shotgun, turns it on himself, and shoots himself in the head. Okay. And as far as he knows, he's dead. He shoots himself in the head. He's not conscious anymore. And then the next morning, he wakes up covered in blood with a hell of a headache and can't see out of one eye. So
cousin calling.
And calls up his cousin, calls up Rose. Rose calls up Jim. Jim comes over, meets Rose at the gate. He says that she relays that story to Jim.
Right.
And Jim's like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? So they take him to there. Now, Rose runs inside. This is now the mother's involved too. Once they get to the hospital, the mother's there. Okay. She got in the phone tree at some point here. I don't know who called her up rather than an ambulance. But
they're already at the hospital. May as well call Rose.
Might as well call Rose. Well, when everybody got there, she got there and ran inside to get medical personnel to assist Frank. You know how you do that also? You get a phone and you call an ambulance and then they come to you. You don't have to run in a hospital and search for them. They really got this whole thing backwards when you're talking about a gunshot wound to the head.
If you're going to get mad at us for calling West Virginia backwards, as soon as they start not being backwards, we'll comply.
This is 100% backwards,
right.
This behavior. This is not what you do. This is back-ass words, as an old man uncle of mine used to say. So Jim and Frank remained outside. I'll just wait. I'm going to smoke me a cigarette before I go in. Your face is shot off, you fucking idiot. He shot his right eye out. His right eye is gone. He shot it out with a shotgun.
He's going to sit and have a smoke first?
He's just hanging outside hold on a minute. They don't let you smoke in there, them pussies, so I better finish my
there's
cigarette.
Oxygen in there, and it's flammable or some shit like that.
Whatever. Jesus Christ. I'm going to finish this real quick is what I'm saying. So they're out there. So Jim's out there with his cousin Frank.
Yeah.
Just a couple of guys smoking outside of an emergency room. Just a couple of guys with three eyes between them hanging out. Oh, man. Three eyes. Intense, intensity, and intenser. Those are the three eyes. So, anyway. Wow. They remain outside. At this point, Frank turns to Jim and says, this is a wild statement to make. I have worried all my life that somebody was going to come up there and shoot us all. With my own hands, I did a bum job on myself. I have ruined my life. I have lost everything. So he's
right.
Pretty incriminating statement. That's what he said. I always just worried that they were going to come. Something was going to come for me. So he made a similar statement to Dominic Carpini. It's a Dominica Carpini.
There's so many Italians in this.
There's a lot of Italians anywhere around coal mines because when they got here, anyone who had no skills, they'd be like, well, coal mines are that way, motherfucker, as we told you.
Sliding those holes real easy.
They're good and greasy. You just stick them. Yeah, don't dig it too wide. Just throw them down there. They'll tell you if he doesn't say he's hungry in a half hour, it means he's dead down there. That's how it works. If he makes it, we'll throw him like a couple of salted cure, whatever those fucking people eat. We'll just a couple of capicola or something. I don't know. We'll toss it down in the hole and he'll keep working. They keep working on a little bit. You just give them a little bit of salted cured meats and they keep going. It's wild.
Throw him one of those tube meats.
Throw him one of some shit in a goddamn natural skin casing. I don't know, something. Just put it down there.
One of the firm meats, not a hot dog. One of them firm meats.
You know what I'm talking about. I don't know, Italian.
Take nibbles out of it.
Something they hang from the ceilings in their little weird shops where they sell each other pork products. I don't know what the hell them goddamn Italians are doing.
Hilarious.
So, anywhere around mines, you get a lot of there's a lot of hillbilly Italians in this region. There just is.
Is that right?
Absolutely. There's a ton of them. Yeah, it's a weird thing. That homicide book, back to that again, David Simon, one of the cops is he's an Italian guy whose dad was a West Virginia coal miner, and he's from that kind of hillbilly West Virginia stock, and then he ended up in Baltimore. So it's one of those deals where there's a lot of us there. We went where shitty work was. No one was a real big fan of us coming over, except for the one guy who sold a decent fucking meal on the whatever, and then it was well, we don't need anyone else. We got him. That guy's a good barber. That's enough. Joe DiMaggio, you're pushing
pizza?
it. Yeah, that's a hell of a pizza. A nice crispy, saucy pie. I'm not going to. So anyway, Dominica Carpini is a paramedic who transports him from the General Hospital to West Virginia University Medical Center because he's shot in the face and all. Frank says at that point to Dominica Carpini, he says, quote, I think I killed them all. You'd better send somebody out there right away. I think they're all dead. This guy had no idea. He just knows there's a guy with a gunshot wound. He's just a paramedic trying to save the guy. And he's like, who? That's that's a statement.
Yeah.
So the paramedic said, who's dead? What happened? Who'd you kill? What'd you do? And Frank said, quote, my wife and daughters, I killed them all. You better send somebody out there. They're all dead. So that's some creepy shit to get if you're a paramedic. You have no, anything in there. So the people treating him said they found him to be alert and responsive. He wasn't in shock or anything like that. He loses his right eye
all gone.
From the gunshot wound. Gone.
They're going to take it out. Oh, boy.
Slap a patch on it, Chief. Let's get it moving.
A Cyclops forever is a tough look.
It's tough, man. I don't know if he's got a glass eye or how he's going to play it, but just lift the flap.
Options are limited.
Yeah, I mean, you can go glass eye, you can go eye patch over glass eye, or you can go hole in the head, eye patch, lift it up to scare kids, and then laugh afterwards maniacally like a psychopath. Those are the options, I believe, when you have a missing eye, right?
I had a friend with 2 of them, James.
2 glass eyes. That's called a blind person.
Yeah.
It's called the blind man. Yeah, he's blind. Yeah.
Yeah. He tried to end it, and somebody walked in when he did it, and the gun moved, and it just cleaned his eyes out.
No. Yeah. That's not good at all.
And then he got 2 glass eyes after that shit.
That's the worst.
That's tough. The bummer is that he didn't even know that they didn't look great.
Well, on the bright side, his family had an easier time hiding the guns from him after that. Right. So made it a lot harder for him to try again.
He'll never find those again.
He'll never try. No, never ever. So there's that. Other than that, holy shit, that's always the worst, when someone's obviously depressed enough to try to end their life. That's just sad
worst.
Anyway. But then when they fail to do that, there's the old joke of, oh, now I can't even do that right.
Right.
You know, that's like an old
trope.
Whatever. Yeah. But how about just not a joke of, you made your life much worse now also.
Right.
You thought it sucked before. How about no eyes? Now how do you feel? You know, now you're miserable. You have a shit job. Nobody loves you. You're this and that. Your mom was mean to you when you were a kid. And, you know, your wife left you or your husband left you. Your kids hate you. And 2 glass eyes. Throw that in the mix. Not good. So anyway, they start looking into this. They send the authorities up there, send the police out there to take a peek of what's going on here. And they find Carolyn and Andrea and Francie in the house, and they have no idea what the fuck caused this or why a person would slaughter their family like this. So it takes them like 6 days to actually arrest him for the crime here. I don't know why, just because he was in the hospital anyway. He wasn't going anywhere with a gunshot wound to the head,
right? So they
had time, but they listed him at that point in fair condition when they arrested him. And so the judge at this point, they bring him in. The judge will not set a bond for him. He's on a no bond there. He said it would be inappropriate to set a bond for him, considering he is charged with murdering 2 children and his wife in cold blood.
Dear Christ.
It's a hard pitch to get out, you know? He's feeling better now. I know that was
out. Yeah.
I know that was a week ago that he was, quote, in a frenzy and shooting his children at close range, but much better. He's had a good night's sleep and a good meal.
Yeah.
He feels good.
I have de-intensified.
Yeah, I've de-intensified. He's saying that he's less than intense right now, is his quote. So he's got to play it. Your defense here is precarious because you can't say I didn't do it because he clearly fucking did it, obviously, and he told everyone he did it, and his cousin tells the police what he told him, that he said that he did it, and the paramedics like, he told me to go check up there and said there was 3 more dead people, so might want to do that. Says he killed his wife and kids, so there's that. So they indict him on 3 counts of first-degree murder. He's got to go for insanity is the only way to play this. He's got to say that he was delusional and all this type of thing. So once he's arrested, there's 3 psychiatrists that examine him, and in all 3 of their opinions, they say he did not appreciate the wrongfulness of his acts at the time of the shooting. Okay. However, though, they all disagreed on a diagnosis of what the fuck is wrong with him, which is pretty interesting. So we came to the same conclusion, but we all got there in different ways.
Right.
Math problem with the same answer in 3 different equations, basically, is how that works. Well, you can get 75 a number of different ways.
Right.
One of those. So they talk about his drug use also. They each come up with their own opinions. So here, let's get into it. So shrink number 1, we'll say here. Shrink 1, shrink 2, shrink 3. Shrink 1, Dr. Melinda Mullins. She practices both internal medicine and psychiatry. So that's like a regular doctor, just an internist, as you know, your family doctor,
right,
and a psychiatrist. This is the two things she does. So inside and out, she's going to fucking know you. She was assigned to the psychiatric consultation service at West Virginia University Medical Center. She's the first of the doctors to examine him, and she interviewed him while he was recuperating from surgery, and she was supposed to assess him for suicidal thoughts or intent prior to being discharged from the hospital. That was her job.
Okay.
He did not recall the entire shooting incident with this doctor. He said he didn't quite remember it all, and she didn't diagnose him at the time, but she raised several diagnostic possibilities after examining him, including atypical paranoid disorder, schizoaffective disorder, and because he claimed that he used drugs for diet purposes, organic delusional syndrome. So she said he's got all these fucking problems, and then you throw in the amphetamines on top of it, and he starts seeing lights and shit. And that's what happens.
So the doctor's diagnosis is basically he's a head case, and then we put shit down him that makes it worse.
Yeah, exactly. Then and then he's not sleeping, and he's doing a bunch of shit that's making his brain not go. That's organic delusional syndrome. His brain is fucking up from natural reasons of not sleeping and shit. So shrink number 2, Dr. Joel Allen, a psychiatrist at West Virginia University Medical Center. He saw Frank for a total of 16 hours over a 9-month period.
What?
So, yeah, that's, 2 hours a month, not even. That would be 18.
Right.
So
16 hours, and we're giving him meth?
For 9 months. No, this is the shrink here, once he's in custody.
Yeah.
Okay. This is beginning in December 82, once he's recovering from surgery and all that shit.
Okay.
He diagnoses Frank as a paranoid schizophrenic, which is...
That's more like it.
It's one of your big boys there, paranoid schizophrenic, finding him to be delusional and a sufferer from pervasive paranoia. So there's that. Now, according to Dr. Allen, Frank suffered from amnesia induced by the injury to the brain from the gunshot, which prevented him from remembering the night of the shooting. He also stated that it was common for people to forget bad things, even, quote, monstrous things. And he says that finally, after 8 sessions with him, he regained his memory of the shooting. So basically, talked him into telling him about it after 8 sessions, sort of a deal. And he's saying
him that you can tell me all this, and we'll file it under sick man.
Yeah, I can help you. And when I was reading this book recently on the Hillside Stranglers, right? The Bianchi and Bono.
Right.
And the funny part is, by the way, the book that we're going to do the bonus on and all that, the Ultimate Evil book, one of his theories was he was putting this all together in the beginning while the Hillside Stranglings were happening. And he thought, in his mind, he said, oh, that's probably the guy who's helping David Berkowitz here, too. He probably went out there and is doing the Hillside Stranglings as well as part of this big, giant satanic cult. Rather than this is 2 idiots who are disgusting and want to do terrible things to women and strangle them so they don't tell on them.
Right.
But it's amazing, man. When you start, and if one thing lined up in that conspiracy, it was like that was everything, Yeah. That's what's fucked, man. When people want to believe something, it's just the human brain. It's not their fault. When people want to believe something, if there's 20 points to a conspiracy and 2 of those points are true, they're like, well, if 2 things are true, then the rest has to be true, which is so not the case. And if 2 things are true, then 18 might not be, and that 18 completely disproves the first 2. So it's you can't.
And everybody wants to be first with information, where they're like, "You haven't heard this? What are you crazy? You never heard this? Let me tell you all about this." And
everybody wants to guide. It's a good-natured instinct that doesn't help any. So anyway, he's a paranoid schizophrenic, according to Dr. Allen, finding him to be delusional and also suffering from pervasive paranoia. Like I said, might forget monstrous things, blah, blah, blah. So shrink number 3 is Dr. Wilbur Sine. And he had a psychiatric and family practice in Morgantown. He examines Frank at the request of the state here, so he's appointed as well, meeting with Frank on 5 different occasions for a total of 5.5 hours. Okay. So he's doing hour sessions with him. He said, quote, "At the time he shot his wife and 2 daughters, I felt that he was in an acute psychotic state." So insane at that point. He said that he believed the paranoia began as many as 4 days before the shootings and was induced by his use of drugs and lack of sleep. Yeah. So the paranoia started, and because of that, he, and for lack of a better term, intensified it with drugs and lack of sleep. Yeah. So that's what and the intense keeps coming up. So he said that during the examination, Bilotti said, now at this point, he's not talking about amphetamines prescribed for weight loss. Bilotti told him that he, quote, "snorted some crank for the entire 4 days before the shooting and stayed awake."
Oh, my God. He's on a 4-day crank binge.
Of not sleeping.
Oh, Jesus.
So, come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's crazy. He didn't share that with the other 2 psychiatrists, though. He only told this guy. Mm-hmm. Another thing here, later on, when asked about it, Dr. Sine, they asked him what could trigger an acute psychotic state in a person with a personality disorder. Dr. Sine said that it could have been his use of crystal methamphetamine. He said, quote, that he didn't, quote, believe you can make the diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia in the face of drug usage. So that's why he didn't call him a paranoid schizophrenic. Right. He said the drugs clouded all that. So they said the state later on will say, quote, "We have a person who has a little personality disorder and is going through life managing to cope with things. And in effect, he got high on amphetamines and lost his temper. Is that true?" And the doctor said, "That's a good summary of it. Basically, yes." They were like, "So let me get this straight. Crazy fuck.
Yeah.
He's fucking nuts and he does a bunch of crank. He's fucking cranking himself up on crystal meth and then he gets pissed off and kills his family, right? I mean, is that what the medical translation of that is?" And he goes, "That's a good summary of it. Basically, yes." That's fucking hilarious. Think you got it covered, Chief. One thing I didn't tell you, though, and this is what he also told all 3 psychiatrists at the time, was not only was he delusional, but his delusions were very specific. He thought that his wife and his 2 daughters were actually aliens that had come to kill him.
Okay.
He thought they were aliens who had tried to take the form of his wife and daughters to fool him into abduction and...
Now we're talking.
You know, whatever the whole anal probes and the, you know, whatever they do to you up there. Either way, though, he said they weren't going to take me alive, goddammit. I fucking took them out, and, you know, they tried to act like they were my daughters, and I was like, "Ain't fooling me, buddy. Sorry there, meat moop. It ain't happening," but that's, I call them all meat moop. That's my, like, it's a racist alien name, because fuck them, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit. So I'm like, "What up, meat moop? I ain't taking that shit," and I shot him right in the back while he tried to run from me.
I've seen every scary movie ever where things can shape-shift, and they always shape-shift into your wife or your daughters.
Every time they're like, "It's all right, sweetie. Yeah. No, honey, give me the gun." And then all of a sudden, like, their hand turns green and a fucking claw grabs at it, and they try to pull your heart out, and the only thing you can do is shoot them under the chin.
Every damn time.
That's every damn time. So that's his excuse, is my family actually, at the time, it turned into aliens. So... Right. What's a guy supposed to do here? I mean,
oh, boy.
What do you think all the, again, like Biggie, what you think all the guns is for? No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. Like, I've been waiting for this fucking day for years, and it finally happened.
Finally got my due.
Go time, baby. And I don't think those fuckers are coming back here anytime soon.
Well, if you mean your kids and your wife, correct.
Correct, sir. So... The judge turned down a request to move the trial out of this county. He said, "This is, I mean, once they hear about mountaintop shotgunnings based on alien misidentifications, it becomes,
right.
Word gets around. You know what I mean? It's a...
We could call the jury pool tainted, Your Honor.
A bit tainted, really, if you think about it. So they said no, though. They won't do that. The judge told his attorneys that they'd be given an adequate chance to reject potential jurors that they feel might be prejudiced against his client. And he also said he didn't feel that Frank could receive a more fair trial anywhere in the state. This is the fairest fucking place in the state. I don't want to hear your bullshit, is literally what he said. There's no play. What are you saying? Places are more fair than this? Who's it? Hey, Tommy, he said over there they're more fair than we are over here. Hey, let's kick his fucking ass.
You're telling me you think all the people in this town have heard of this because there was aliens and you shotgun your kids and your wife and jail. If you think that the people in this town are keeping that information to themselves, you're out of your fucking mind, sir.
Yeah,
everybody's heard of this.
Just
there
insulated.
Ain't no fairer place.
That shit's getting spread. That's going to spread like fucking disease. So... they then filed the change of venue request and they said no. So I love how it says in the paper, Bilotti, a formal florist, is accused of the shotgun slayings of his wife and 2 teenage daughters last October. Jesus Christ.
That is a wild sentence.
So that's why it's weird, not because
a man that's a florist is the sweetest man on earth.
Shotgunning his family to death is not the next... That's not the Mad Lib most people would fill in there.
That man owns several cardigans and then shotgunned his family.
He's a florist who shotgunned his family. What? So during the trial, the state calls Betty Maditz, who had known the Bilottis for 12 years and is their self-described best friend. She describes herself as their best friend.
Yeah.
Or, as they described her, the chick who you turn the lights off when you think she might be swinging by to make sure that she doesn't think you're home so you don't have to see her again. One of those two things. I'm not sure.
Right.
You know? Oh, Jesus. Betty's... Fuck. Just turn the lights off. Turn the lights off. Don't pick up the phone.
She's the real estate agent in Beetlejuice.
That's exactly what... Kid, shut up. Shut up. Jesus Christ. So she knew them. She said that she had gone shopping with the Bilotti family, the whole family, and her, went shopping on October 2nd, 1982, so that's 6 days earlier. Mm-hmm. She said she didn't remember Frank saying anything that day that was indicative of paranoid characteristics. Not at the Piggly Wiggly, anyway.
Right.
You know, they were...
Over there at Charlotte Russe, he wasn't saying anything crazy about aliens.
It was fine, really. Right. I mean, honestly, we went on over there and we went to the mall. He even went in the Chess King, got himself a nice pair of 82 jeans, and he was just happy as a clam. So on cross-examination, though, they asked her whether she knew that he was paranoid. Sometimes, because the defense, because that was what the prosecution said. Like, was he paranoid on the second? She was like, nope. Well, there you go. That's all we need out of her. And the defense said, yeah, but do you know him as a paranoid person? And she said, quote, I would say it sometimes he is, yes. So there you go. I mean, he's got gas masks and rifles stacked and...
He's paranoid every day. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And it's 82. Like, it's not the 50s. It's not post 9/11. It's not any of those two times when people lost their fucking minds and started building bomb shelters. It's then. So he testified as on his own behalf, but his testimony is, I shot my wife and fucking daughters. I thought they were aliens. Is, you know, that's you either believe him or you don't, but either way, you know he did it. So it's tough for jurors to go, not guilty.
Tough sell.
Tough sell. The verdict on 3 counts of murder, they did 4 hours of deliberation.
It's a long time.
Yeah, 3 murders, though. You got to fill out paperwork 3 times.
Hour 20 apiece, yeah.
Yeah, first degree is tough. Yeah. This is on December 21st, 1983. They finally come in with the verdict of, big shocker here, guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder.
Ooh, boy.
All 3. So, they didn't buy the insanity thing. They didn't
Not a bit of it.
Not a bit of it. Just first-degree murder, nothing. So now sentencing comes up, and this is a hilarious move. And attorneys do this all the time. It's procedural, but it's just hilarious when they do it, okay? He's just been convicted of 3 first-degree murders. He's just here to be sentenced. So what does the defense do? They make a motion for a new trial. Your Honor... Your Honor, I'm not thrilled with the outcome of what we did here I'm just, you know what I mean? I don't think it worked out well, and I think we should just have a do-over, right? Right? Everybody okay with that? I think it was a...
And if I have my way, Your Honor, I believe we should redo this over and over until I win.
We had a good dry run.
Right.
It was like we blocked it like in rehearsal.
It was a good practice.
I know where I'm sitting. He knows where he's sitting. You're up there. You know what I mean?
Wait, sentencing... You mean we started already? Shit,
Jesus. I thought we was practicing. So He is, they require, and the judge says, "What, are you fucking kidding me? No, of course we're not doing that, you idiots. No.
Yeah.
No, sentencing coming down." So the jury, by the way, comes through. Now, what they do is basically he's going to get life in prison. Yeah. Okay? That's the first-degree murder automatic, is life in prison. But he can either have, if the jury recommends mercy, then he can have a chance of parole. Whereas if the jury makes the sentencing recommendation, quote, without mercy, that means it's life without possibility of parole.
Okay.
So
there's no
the jury,
penalty.
No, not in West Virginia at this time. Okay. So the jury's basically given a thumbs up, thumbs down type of deal to him right now. That's all it is.
This is fun.
So, yeah, it's interesting. So they come back with, "You, sir, they have no mercy."
Oh,
they show him no mercy, and he receives, "You, sir, may fuck off," a life in prison without the possibility of parole is where he goes. So he is shipped off to West Virginia State Prison, obviously. And it's at this point where a bunch of shit comes up about his properties. And this is pretty wild. October 8th was the murder, okay? He did some interesting property dealings on November 15th, 82. So a month later. Listen to what he did, okay?
Which
he
cousins got him?
Okay, this is the fun part. He owns 2 pieces of real estate as a joint tenant with the right of survivorship with his wife, Carolyn. So she dies, it's his, basically. So, but he murdered her and was convicted of these murders, so then he can't have that. He can't inherit anything of her side because whatever. So he instead signed over his properties to his mother, Rose Bellotti. Yeah. And state law provides that no one convicted of killing another could acquire any property from that person killed, quote, by descent and distribution or by will or otherwise. So, you know, if I have a will saying you get all my shit and then you kill me, you don't get my shit anymore.
That makes sense.
You know, obviously, less motivation to expedite the process. Makes your intense feelings a little more intense. We've made it illegal to
murder people, but if we can convict them on that, we got to change some rules on some other shit too.
Yeah, that's got a real butterfly effect going on here. It's gonna. So Carolyn's parents sue for the joint tenancy property. They say they want it, basically. So now this is funny because different laws happen at different times, because it's funny, Angelo, Bono, and Kenny Bianchi. We'll do a bonus one of these days on the Hillside Strangler.
We should, at minimum, for the origin story.
For the origin story, for the origin story, and then also for like the postscript too. We can leave out all the murders because everybody's covered those, but what happened once they got caught and the pre are fucking wild. So that's what's interesting. We'll talk about sometime. But Angelo Bono did the same thing with his property, the property that he had his house and his upholstery shop on, where they killed all the women. He gave that to the guy next door who owned a glass shop next to him. He just gave that to that guy. That guy leveled the house because nobody wanted to fucking rent it because a bunch of women died in there in a horrible fashion. So he just leveled the house, and when police went back to look over the house again, it was a fucking slab. It was a concrete slab. They were like,
no.
What the shit happened? And the guy's like, I fucking leveled the house.
Yeah.
So that was, they should have paid probably more attention to that, I would say. While Bono was in jail, that happened. So anyway, Frank and Carolyn Bellotti, this is 3 different parcels of real estate, like I said. On November 15th, he conveyed without consideration the 2 properties he held in joint tenancy, not the one he held on his own, but the 2 that they held together, to his mother, Roseanne Bellotti, okay? So then January 11th, 1990 comes around.
Yeah.
So, 7 years after he's convicted, 6.5, Roseanne Bellotti then conveys the 2 properties to a straw party, Ellen F. Harner. Okay, so that's Ellen F. Harner is basically like a corporation, almost like an entity. So she signs the properties over to Ellen F. Harner. Now, at the same time, right after that, Ellen F. Harner conveys the property to who? Frank J. Bellotti. And Rose Bellotti by deed at that point. So she basically deeds the house to them in their back name. So they basically laundered the property. That's how they tried to do it. They went through a third party and tried to launder it and come it back up. It's all clean now. Now I can own it again because it went through a third party. Then we reacquired it, so it's not like I got it inherited at that point.
Wild.
But it's all calculated. It's not. There's no fucking. This Ellen F. Harner didn't actually want this property to keep for herself and then decided at some point to sell it to them. That's not how it worked. It was just all bullshitted around. So that's when this all comes up. It didn't come up at first. When he first gave it to his mom and all that shit, nobody said a word. No. Nobody noticed it until the parents realized it. Her parents, Carolyn's parents, realized it at some point, like, hey, we should have those properties. What the fuck is going on? Agreed. Looked into it and found out how they did it. They went around it. Yeah, they went around it all like this. So they have tons of statutes on this. The one decision said, quote, "It would be monstrous for the courts to lend their aid to anyone for the purpose of enriching himself by the commission of murder and to entertain suit on behalf of the beneficiary to recover upon this policy of insurance." Oh boy, terrible. You can't have that. So they go over all this. They finally they said that they filed. Okay, this is confusing here. So they filed a complaint in the court seeking, this is her parents, seeking partition of the 3 parcels of real estate which were owned by Carolyn. The request for partition of the property as held as tenants in common was granted, and the court ordered the property be sold at public auction. So then they get half the money. The court denied the request for partition of the 2 parcels held in joint tenancy, and so then there's all sorts of appeals going on. It goes all the way to the Virginia Supreme Court.
Really?
This property dispute here. And they conclude that they find the statute controls who takes the property. As Carolyn Biglotti's heirs, Andrew and Virginia Licatos, her parents, own the entire property. Rose Biglotti gets nothing. So they reversed the lower court's decision, which gave the Biglottis at least a part of it, and then it would be sold at auction, and then they would get their part, and the parents would get their part. Instead, the higher court says, oh, no. You don't have to sell it at auction because it's all yours, family of Carolyn. Biglottis, go fuck yourselves.
You can go ahead and list that if you don't love it.
Yeah, that's what. There you go. Nicely done. So he wants to appeal his case here. It's a capital case. The thing is, West Virginia is one of very, very, very few states. I think at the time there was maybe 3 or 4 that on this type of murder, a first-degree murder, there's not an automatic appeal. Mm-hmm. You don't just get an appeal. You have to have a reason for it. There's no just appeal on an appeal just to make sure make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. You got to have a reason.
That is fascinating.
They assume they got it right. There is no court more fair than this. And to prove it, you ain't allowed to look over it when we're done. That's it. Once it's done because it's fair, goddammit.
That's as fair as it gets.
That is something. So,
wild, man.
Jesus Christ, man. It's crazy. So they said that what they basically, this went to the Supreme Court at some point, but they basically said that the right to appeal on a heavy-duty case is basically so accepted at this point by everybody that they don't need to make precedent with Supreme Court law. Right. So basically, everybody's pretty normal. I mean, unless you're in like the backwoods of West Virginia or something, it's going to be great. Unless you're, you know what I'm saying? That's basically what they said. We're not going to do that for like 3 weird places who want to be crazy. So
I mean, don't murder people in those weird places. But until then,
I mean, it's fine. I'm sure they'll still get an appeal. It's just normal now. That's basically what it was. The one Justice Brennan concluded it was unlikely that a case presenting the question would ever arise, quote, for the very reason that a right of appeal is now universal for all significant criminal convictions. And they said all the states now provide some method of appeal from criminal convictions, recognizing the importance of an appellate review to correct adjudication of guilt or innocence. Except if you're in fucking West Virginia.
Right.
That's the thing. And I'm not one for, let's clog up the appeals process, but let's make sure across the board. Obviously, in this case, it's there's not really a lot of question of who done it. Right. This wasn't a real head scratcher, but in some cases, this may come in goddamn handy. So in West Virginia, a petition for appeal from the judgment of a lower court must be filled within 8 months of that judgment. The record on the petition may include the transcript of the proceedings as well as any pleadings, orderings, or exhibits which will enable the Supreme Court to decide matters arising in the petition. And oral presentation is limited to 10 minutes on this. So
you got 10 minutes to convince us?
Make your case, motherfucker.
Holy
10 minutes.
Shit.
You get it's a panel of 5 judges that decide whether you get an appeal or not, and they vote.
You got all 5 of us together. We only have a 10-minute window. Go.
That's it. Busy people. Let's go. Move it along.
Pitter patter. Clock's ticking. Let's go.
That's it. They got a guy with a big hook on the side just waiting to go. So they said in order to ensure that criminal defendants are not effectively denied the right to utilize this appellate process and thus denied the right to due process and equal protection of the law, the court has held that the state cannot enact legislation favoring, quote, one class of indigent defendants over another class of indigent defendants in criminal proceedings. In the enactment of statute, the legislature is presumed not to enact a statute which is violative of the Constitution. So basically, it's how much money you have, or all. If you're poor and you kill somebody, it should be the same as if you're poor and you have drugs on you, is Correct. What they're saying. So that's what they're trying to say there. He tries to appeal in 1985. They take it to the board, and his attorney, Fleischer here, makes the case, and they get voted down 3-2. 3-2, no appeal. Go fuck yourself, they say. So,
holy shit.
This happens a couple times. Fleischer goes back for a third attempt at an appeal on him. They just keep going back.
Yeah.
And argued a case that he faces a life sentence without the possibility of parole. That should include an automatic appeal. West Virginia law doesn't provide for that. So basically, she sees a possible Supreme Court case, that this could go all the way to the Supreme Court and we could make national precedents here.
Make a big deal out of this.
Make me very famous. And also, she's right. She's right at the same time. She argued that 48 other states have such a provision. 48.
Right.
That's not good. You're behind, I think.
Way behind.
Everybody else has done it but you. So in the appeal, it's almost at this point you're not legalizing weed. Stop. Enough with this.
You now
48. Yeah.
There's egg on your face. It's all over.
You're going, we don't want no tax dollars. Sure, they're just going to go to the next state, get it, and bring it over here and smoke it and do whatever they want with it, but we don't want them paying us for it.
Right.
Shit, we don't want schools to be good. So, anyway, I don't know why I put that accent on for that. It's happening all over the place, but mainly places with that accent are the ones doing it. Because even like northern, middle of nowhere states that are, the unpopulated states are even fucking legalizing. Was it Montana or South Dakota or some shit?
Montana,
legalize recreational weed. You wouldn't expect that out of Montana.
That's bananas.
It's a very conservative place.
Right. That just means that somebody up there got a hold of someone and was like, holy shit, this is great.
This is you ever had an edible?
It finally got there. Right. And they're like, oh my God, this is what they've been saying?
This is amazing. Jesus. You know what? Maybe this isn't so bad. So in the appeal request, Fleischer said that even the state's psychiatrist, who is Dr. Sine, agreed that Bilotti suffered from, quote, paranoid schizophrenia and was in a psychotic state. Quote, he apparently thought he was killing some aliens who were trying to destroy his family. Duh.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
all well and good.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah. But let's also hang on to him forever.
Yeah, that's...
it's fine. I agree. We should look it over, take some liberties, take our time, make sure we got it right. But then again, make sure he never gets out.
And then that too, because he's obviously out of his fucking mind. So just imagine she put on a pantsuit and got herself all together. These judges put on their robes and combed their hair and everything like that. And everybody sat down, and she went to law school and passed the bar, has lots of experience. And then she said, he apparently thought he was killing some aliens who were trying to destroy his family, Your Honor. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Right. Think about the ridiculousness of that whole scenario and where the fuck we are at this point.
New trial? Or?
So that's what they're going for. So, I mean, obviously new trial, right? Wink. Like, what are we talking about? So this time, finally, though, in like 89, I think, the court votes 4-1 in favor of hearing an appeal from him. They're like, his own attorney just called him psychotic. We should probably take a look at this. This can't be good.
At best, we're going to have a fun afternoon listening to a great story. What do you guys think?
I mean, shit, this sounds good. Aliens, I'm up for this. This sounds, I need to hear what the hell happened here. So during the appeal, part of their appeal is that he should have had the right to appeal immediate appeal like the other 48 states, which this isn't the proper venue for that. You can't appeal that's the law. You can appeal that to a higher court, but it's not what you're appealing anyway. So they said we need not decide whether a non-discretionary first appeal of right should be granted to all criminal defendants in the state who are sentenced to life without parole. At this time, the statute doesn't do it, and certainly it says, quote, certainly our state legislature could create a right to this type of full appellate review in specific categories if it chooses to do so. However, we conclude our discretionary procedure of either granting or denying a full appellate review as a conviction we're not getting involved. This isn't up to us, okay?
Right. There's
people that you vote for them, and then they'll do it because we're not fucking doing this.
Show up to the polls, motherfuckers.
Because they say that basically the sentencing leaves a little to the discretion of the juries. So basically, the only thing up to the jury is the mercy question, and it's just better for the legislature. Let's just do that. So they also are trying to figure out. They're trying to figure out whether he was insane or not, and whether he got a fair shake on his insanity. So they say that he argues that the evidence presented in the case was inadequate to sustain a finding that the state proved his sanity beyond a reasonable doubt. Hey, I said I was crazy, and they said I wasn't. Yeah. So they discussed the state's burden regarding the sanity issue, because it's the state's. That's why you have to get a bunch of psychiatrists. They don't just let you plead insanity. Right. You have to apply for an insanity defense, basically. Then they have to have psychiatrists say that you're eligible for it or whatever, because otherwise they deny people. We've had it a ton of times where people want to use the insanity defense and they deny it as a defense. You're not allowed to say that. Next. Yeah. So, they said that there exists in the trial of an accused a presumption of sanity. However, should the accused offer evidence that he was insane, the presumption of sanity disappears, and the burden is on the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he was, in fact, sane at the time. So they say that he points out that the only thing they had to say he was sane is all the doctors said he was out of his mind, batshit crazy, tinfoil hat on the corner.
Right.
The only people they had testify to say he was sane were the guy who delivered his firewood, the tenant, and the lady who works at the greenhouse.
Okay.
They're the only people who are like, he seemed okay to me. And one of them saw him a week before. One of them saw him 6 days before. Mm-hmm. And, the other one saw him that night and said that he wouldn't say hello and didn't talk. So I don't know how you could say he was sane at that point if you didn't even speak to him.
And also, those guys, none of them have really medical knowledge of what insane is,
They're lay people, as they put it in here, yeah. Plus, if he didn't say hello and just kept walking, that's psychotic. That's it could be just he was zoning out thinking of something else, or he could have been, if she said something, he could have went, aliens, and then screamed and ran out. Like, who the fuck knows what they're doing here?
Right.
It's goddamn crazy. So, anyway, he maintains that the testimony, the 5 lay witnesses to the seeming normalcy of him immediately prior to the shooting was insufficient to prove sanity when balanced against the testimony of multiple psychiatrists, basically. Yeah. He maintains in this case that the lay witnesses who testified to his normal behavior were inadequate to sustain a finding of sanity beyond a reasonable doubt. Somehow, the court says, we disagree. I don't know how you could disagree with that. What? That's reasonable. Although we concluded that the testimony from the state's lay witnesses was insufficient to prove sanity, we emphasized in another case that, quote, we do not mean to say that lay testimony can never rebut expert testimony. When lay witnesses testify about a person's mental condition, the following factors are to be considered. This is very interesting to me. I hope it's interesting to everyone else. The witness's acquaintance with the person and opportunity to observe their behavior. So it couldn't be someone you just met because you don't know how they are. There's no baseline there.
The time, a reference, right?
Yeah, the time which the observation occurred, I guess, in context to the crime. The nature of the behavior observed. However, none of the lay witnesses in the other case even knew in the case that they're citing, none of the lay witnesses knew the person they were talking about. They're saying in this case that everybody did know they knew him. They interacted with him regularly, so they would be able to tell if he was acting abnormal when it comes to him, his baseline of whatever. So He said and they also said the differing conclusions reached by 3 psychiatrists in this case resulted from somewhat conflicting information supplied to them by him. Because one guy he only told about snorting fucking meth, and the others he didn't say he was snorting meth. So they're saying they didn't all have a fair crack at it, is what the court says. This is a little mushy for me. This is like brakes that don't work real well. Like I feel like I got to pump this too much to make legal sense. Yeah. Like, and legal fairness, I'll say. Even though I want this guy to be in jail forever, the legalities of it are a different thing.
I'd love to do it to where it's ironclad and
above board.
Yeah. Ironclad, and you got no regrets about having him in there.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. So, fuck, man. So they said that conflicting information. The effect of Frank's admitted substance abuse was also a point of disagreement among the experts. It is in the opinion of the court that in this case, the issue of the defendant's sanity was properly presented to the jury, and there was sufficient evidence for the jury to find that he was sane beyond a reasonable doubt. Also, a bunch of other errors he tries to find here. He also argues in this, his last argument is that the trial court erred in failing to explain to the jury the effect of a decision to withhold a recommendation of mercy. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Mercy means maybe parole. No mercy means no parole. You don't need a lawyer to sit down and go over something with a chart and a fucking highlighter to understand that. I would hope not.
Right.
If a juror couldn't understand that, they shouldn't be on a fucking murder trial jury if they're not that intelligent. You know what I'm saying?
Solid point, yeah.
Like, if they don't even have that kind of logic, what are they finding their evidence based on? They can infer nothing from seeing and listening to people. So, he said that the jury was instructed, quote, should you find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder without recommendation of mercy, he will be sentenced to prison for life. The instruction was followed by an explanation that a mercy recommendation would entitle him to eligibility for parole after he served 10 years of his life sentence. So he said that they don't like how they explained it, but that seems like that's the explanation. He doesn't like that they said, okay, here's the deal. He doesn't like that they told the jury that he could get out in 10 years if you give him recommendation of mercy.
Got it.
They're saying that's not up to the jury of how long the parole process is. That's a legislative issue of how long of your sentence you have to do. It has nothing to do with that.
People on the jury heard he could get out in 10 years, and to make sure that absolutely does not happen, we'll go with no mercy.
We'll go with no mercy. So that's his argument, which again, it's murky. That's muddy waters, man. Like that's kind of a good point.
Somebody obviously didn't explain to those jurors that the man right today is being convicted and sentenced to prison for murdering his family. Do you know how many
cold blood.
Very few people have ever killed 3 people and gotten out of prison within 10 years.
That would be, especially if 2 of them are their minor children, one of which you shot in the back as she ran from you. Like it's
not going to happen.
You put that in front of I mean, I'm sure it has happened. I'm sure there's been terrible paroles or whatever that's happened, but it probably shouldn't happen. And at the same time, the length that he is in there, that's why they said the jury has a limited amount, in their argument, Belotti's argument is the jury has a very limited amount of discretion in this of basically mercy or no mercy, and you put time into their discretion because you said 10 years, which put a fucking thing on it. So now it's a different decision.
I'll bet you can count on one hand how many times this has happened and somebody got out within 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. It's tough, especially this particular one, but who knows if he got in there and if people thought he was crazy, but he's feeling better now and all that kind of shit, you never know. But I think still they'd be like, you know what, let's go back and do a couple more. You're not getting out on first crack after that. No, never. That's not. If you just killed maybe one of them, but not all 3.
No.
Not all 3.
And the one being the wife in the heat of the moment, and she hit him first or holding the knife. You know what I mean?
She was raging, going, I'm going to stab you, as she ran across the room holding a knife above her head like in
maybe
a stabbing
10 years
motion.
for that one.
Maybe 10. That's fucking funny. But also, you got to look at it like it's just so strange because he also, I think a lot of the factor is, too, For him, he shot himself in the fucking head, which I would think to a jury would say, like, oh, he really was off the deep end. Right. Because, like, when people say they were crazy and then or they're insane legally, and then you say, you know, oh, but you tried to cover up the crime, you hid the bloody clothes in the dumpster, and then you drove away from the body and you took a shower. So you were clearly aware of what you were doing and trying to cover up the crime. This guy did that, but with a gunshot to the head, which is like the crazy way to do it, you know, like. So I don't know how the hell you figure that out, but either way, that was 1990. His appeal is denied. Okay. So you know, at that point, he's sitting in prison waiting to try to get more going on because he's trying to get that challenge. He wants to go all the way to the Supreme Court with this thing. And on November 28th, 1996, he dies in prison. So he never gets the chance to.
That's a hell of an appeal, sir.
There you go. Appeal officially denied, I would say. That would be an appeal denied. Forever. Yes, indeed. He's got a nice headstone. I'll say that. His family sprung for a nice stone. He's got like the rectangular stone on the bottom as like a base, and then the nice stone coming up out of that. So
it's a stand-up.
It's a stand-up. He's got a good one here. It's nice. It's got like hands praying on it, and his dates and all that kind of shit. He was 51 years old when he died. So, I mean, you know, that's pretty young.
Yeah.
Praying. Please don't let the aliens take me.
Right.
So,
other being in the sky, please take care of these beings in the sky.
I saw a light beam. Do you happen to know anything about that? Do you know the light beam people?
Can you stop the Bic flame people?
That's fucking amazing. So that, everybody, is Morgantown, West Virginia, or kind of just, I feel bad for Morgantown because this happened. This is probably in an area like on the outskirts up in the hills where the people in Morgantown are like, weird shit happens up there.
Yeah.
Like, they're the people who come down into the Taco Bell and go, y'all got any mozzarella cheese sticks? I want some Fiestas. Like, you know, that's, oh boy, they're coming down from the hills again.
James, so, she ordered a party at Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah. I want some of them Fiestas. All right. We don't have that. Well, I got them on your menu then. All right, then.
I would like two parties to go, please.
Woohoo. Pack them up in the back of the truck, goddammit. I got people in my cab. Fiestas and mozzarella cheese sticks, which I wouldn't pull up to a Taco Bell and assume they had cheese sticks. That's just not the way. There's nothing. It's kind of like
Italian,
a pizza place thing and that sort of thing. It's not a bar, maybe you'll have them as a munchie, but not Taco Bell. It's fucking Mexican, fast Mexican
Y'all
food.
have mozzarella sticks. Lady, the closest thing we have is a fucking Mexican pizza.
Yeah.
And it's not even...
No.
There's nothing pizza about that.
It's so strange.
It has refried beans, ma'am.
Hi, McDonald's. Y'all got a bean burrito I could have? No. Stupid. We sell hamburgers and some other weird shit, but no burritos, actually. Breakfast burritos, actually. Yes, we do.
We do have an apple pie you can put in your pocket.
So there's that. By the way, their pies suck now.
It's bad.
What happened? Those pies were the greatest thing in the world.
They used to be so good.
They changed it. Now it's all like flaky and it's too nice. It's too good. Like it's not, shouldn't be that. It should be a piece of shit that comes in the thing. And it's
right. It should be like a little apple tart. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yes, made out of sugared burlap. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what I expect when I want that. Not some flaky artisan bullshit.
Right.
McDonald's. I want shit from you, damn it. So anyway, that's Morgantown. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, there is a way to tell us.
Yeah.
Absolutely a way to tell us. You can get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, and tell us all about it and tell the whole world about it. Give us 5 stars and say something. It doesn't matter what you say, but say something. Say what you're more afraid of, aliens or demons invading your home. From below or above, what are you more afraid of? And we'll be fine with that and give 5 stars.
All you got to do is put 2 words, from and then above or below. Your choice.
One of the two. And we'll do that other episode maybe in like 4 or 5 years. I don't know, but when we're down the road, because I can't do it now. It's just sickening to me. So, it's done and it's so good and I just want to share it and we can't. So that sucks. But anyway, do all that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now, because you can get everything for crime and sports and small town murder in that wonderful location, including merchandise. So much merchandise coming out of your ass over there. We got everything. Jesus. There's so much of it, Jimmy. It's coming out of your ass. So we got merchandise out of your ass over there. You can see tickets to these fucking live shows. We're going to go around and
you just said that.
Spew some bullshit from the stage. You could come and watch. We'll
you
talk
just
to
said
you.
That, James, in a sales pitch.
That's it. I was up. I slept for like 2 hours, and I put together 2 small town murders in 24 hours. I am delusional, and I don't even fucking care. I got through the story, so I'm like, whatever. I don't fucking care. Don't care.
You buy a shirt that has some shit on it, it's coming out of your ass.
We got shirts with shit on it. As a matter of fact, it's coming out of your ass. You can wipe your ass with it. We don't care. It's already shit on it. What do we care? Doesn't matter. Buy a fucking shirt. It helps out the goddamn cause here. What do you want from me? You know what else you can do? Buy tickets to live shows. There you go.
Do that.
We get money for that, too. That's a good thing. You buy those, we'll go there. We'll begrudgingly make our way to your city that we hate and pretend we like, for the purposes of talking to you, because we do like you.
Right.
So we don't want to make you feel bad about your terrible city. We'll do that. Yes, and you can come watch us, and we'll be so thankful if you come watch us. Do that.
We got tickets up your ass over there at shutupandgivememurder.com.
You got tickets coming out of your ass over there. Whatever city you want, you can get. It doesn't matter. What do you want? Philly? Out of your ass, right over there. What do you want? Oh, what do you want? Tampa? Right out of your ass. Boom. Boom, pow. San Diego? Out of your ass. I love it when we're punchy. This is a good shit. So, anyway, get your tickets there and line all up and do that and take things in and out of your ass. I don't care. As well as...
It fucking hurts.
Between this and the aliens, it's just painful this week.
Oh, man.
Shit, listen to P.S. I hate this movie, too, because I have to watch those fucking Twilight movies to keep me company while I watch that, because it's not like Sarah makes me or keeps me hostage. She hates them, too, but I don't like them, so hang out with me while we're watching those movies.
It would be really fun if you guys did a spoiler at the end of your show and just sort of like, just kidding. We love every one of these.
As a matter of fact, this is a list of my top 100 AFI movies right here. The lengths I go to try to twist movies into a rom-com.
Yeah.
I'm like, Roadhouse is kind of a rom-com. It's pretty funny when Patrick Swayze's fighting people in those tight jeans, and he fucks Kelly Lynch, so it's sort of a rom-com. We can watch that and make fun of Roadhouse, right? That's hilarious. It happens. So anyway, we do that once in a while. I get to pick. But do all that. Follow us on social media. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and also Patreon. It's so good, our Patreon. We very rarely brag about things. We're very self-deprecating.
The things that we are proud of are the effort that we put into this shit.
Yeah, and if we know something's good, we're like, that's fucking good. And our Patreon is good shit. And you get access to, it's coming out of your ass, you get access to the entire back catalog for both shows, Patreons as well, and the crime and sports ones are rarely about sports. As for instance, this week in both of our shows, for crime and sports, you get the Atlanta Gold Club scandal, which was a big, giant, high-class, I use that in quotes, high class, because it's expensive and they had a lot of mirrors and shit. Strip club in Atlanta that got busted for offering more than your normal menu.
Services coming out of your ass.
Out of your ass, Jimmy. Also really intensely out of your ass. So they had that going on, and a bunch of athletes used to go there to receive these services, and all of them got subpoenaed to testify under oath to find out exactly what services were rendered, and they're rendered to many asses. So you need to check that out. And then for Small Town Murders, we have kind of a Sons of Sam, that new documentary that's gotten, I use that in air quotes as well, documentary about the Son of Sam killings that accuses basically this author named Maury Terry, spent 20 years writing this book going into all the cult things about how David Berkowitz was a member of this giant cult, and it was a whole big thing, and David Berkowitz had partners that also did the shootings. He wasn't the only one, and he's taking the fall for everybody.
Oh, boy.
And he's got things that mean that thing, so it can't mean anything but this. Like like these conclusions. And I read over 20 hours of an audiobook of this, so I listened to that. And it's called The Ultimate Evil, and we're going to talk about this guy's theory. And you think aliens coming to kill your family's weird too. He's got some crazy ass theories, and I mean a couple that are on point. That's what makes it annoying, because there's a couple things where you're like, I mean that's true, but then he extrapolates, then it goes to this to this to this. And you're like, whoa.
Hold on.
You lost me at B, pal. You lost me at B. I was on board for A.
Yeah,
and then
your
B,
intensity is
off.
Intensifying. That's for sure.
It's wild. So we're going to laugh at some crazy satanic conspiracy shit and try to figure out what is real and what's not about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And that is this week. And also, you get access to the whole back catalog, and you're a producer. So we're going to say your name. Jimmy's going to try his best not to mispronounce it while mispronouncing it terribly.
Correct.
But we're going to honor you in either way. We're going to honor you, damn it. Honor coming out of your ass. So we're going to do that. He's got names coming out of his ass, people. It's hard for him to say them all. So you get all of that at patreon.com/crime and sports. And if you just want to make a one-time donation or whatever, and, you got money coming out of your ass, you don't know what to do with it, you can throw a couple bucks on PayPal there, and that'll still make you a producer, where Jimmy will say your name, and, you're a good, honored part of the show, and you have our undying affection and thankfulness. Right. That said, Jimmy, I think I need a list of my most favorite people in the goddamn world who keep our show going and keep us in food. What do you say, Jimmy? Hit me with that list right now.
This week's executive producers are Joanne Ahern, Synanon graduate Christian Pierce.
Oh, Synanon graduate.
Ruben Revelis, Revelis? I think it's Revelis. His daughter is, I believe she's getting married in Vegas. I think that's the thing.
Well, congratulations.
I have to check it, but... Yeah, there's also Jordan Bennett. Yes, Michaela Revelis and his future son-in-law's Freddie Gonzalez. His son-in-laws? No, it's just one. But they're getting married in Vegas in June. So
awesome.
Congratulations, the two of you. Also, we have Jordan Bennett, of course, and Michael Remick. I think it's Remick. You guys, we can't do it without you, and having you guys around being so supportive is truly fucking incredible. Thank you so much. Other producers this week are Rick Perando and Jess Perando. They're celebrating the 14th anniversary. Maria Rasper, Carl Kirshner, and his poison-ivied asshole. Old boy wiped his ass in the woods, evidently, with the wrong plant.
Oh, my God. That's why you always bring Charmin wherever you go.
Yeah. Or there's also an app that you can identify plants. Get that thing, Carl, and figure out your life.
Make sure you're not allergic first. Yeah, good call.
James Martyr, Peyton Meadows, Liz Vasquez. Happy birthday, Liz. I think we said it last week, but just to be sure, want to make sure. Thank you so much, Liz. David Beers, in memory of racist Nan, for your pleasure, James.
Well, thank you. We all miss
I don't know how long racist Nan's been gone, but
a while.
David wanted to make sure she was remembered.
Might have just heard it. Thank you so much.
Kelly Higby, Steve Schnell. Thank you, Steve. I miss that guy so much. Can't wait to get back out on the road. Carrie Brantley quit drinking and lost over 100 pounds, James.
Holy
to go, Carrie.
Wow, congrats.
Keep it up.
Yeah,
Valerie Callahan and her Callahan brake pads money. Alexa Herkamp. Kim Hodgkiss. Dr. Leo Marvin.
Awesome. Dr. Marvin.
Tiffany's terrific. Jeremy Bethune, Amy Easton, Jason Roberts, Janice Hill, Emma Keller defended her thesis. Congratulations, Dr. Keller.
Congrats.
Jess Campanello, Elizabeth Romano, Jacob Cook is back to work after 14 months of fucking furlough.
Congrats,
I hate this
brother.
disease.
Congrats.
Yeah, Thomas Smith, Mother Jefferson's wig, Jacob Jake. No, that's Jake Jacob, sorry.
Mother Jefferson's
Rabbi Shmulevich is... Say again?
Mother Jefferson's wig. That has to be a Jefferson's reference. I love it.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rabbi Shmulevich.
We love him.
He's recovering from a car ran over his index finger. I don't know what this is.
How the hell you do that?
It's not a real person.
No,
it's not a real guy.
It'd be hard
Liz Nice Slice Smith, Jennifer Riddell. Doug, let's go to a live show. What do you say? Tom Hale, happy Father's Day, obviously, from your favorite daughter, Madison Hale.
Happy Father's Day.
Hawk Glandorf. No, happy Father's Day. Did I say birthday?
You said Father's Day.
Okay, good. All right. Hawk Glandorf is headed to the Euro Cup. I don't know if he's a player or if he just wanted to go see it.
He's just going to see it. What's the Euro Cup?
I don't watch enough soccer. to recognize names.
What's going on over there? I don't know.
Cameron Maynard, Jordan Hoffman, Emily Rogers, Lisa Dunton, Brandy Gabori, Nemesai Ayin Davenport. I got Davenport right. Corey Cope, Bradley Biederman, Eric Dixon.
Dickskin? Did you just call him Eric Dickskin?
I did.
He's going to get that now from others.
Forever. Stacy Clement, Ivan Gumboa, Mark Grossman, Courtney Reese, Ian Furman, I think, Don, Beeskazad, that's not right, Ida Slater, I think it's Cider, John Helms, Kristen Miller, Lindsay Kriskowski, Kay with no last name, Alicia Lewis, Capo Dude, Sherry Shaw, Laura with no last name, Kelly Grismore, Annick Zadro, Katarina Matthey. What is this, Maddie? Matthey Horn? What? Travis Schaefer, Quinn Hickey, Shannon Flaherty, Ashley Fadden, sorry. Judith with no last name, Amy Garney, Andrew with no last name, Stephen Salbo, infamous Dolly Mop, Tiffany Daniels, Marshall Biggs, Cassandra Maxwell, Allison Randall, Brianna Labrie, Kendra Johnson, Tyrell Cruz, Tam with no last name, Megan Scruggs, Samantha no last name, Matthew, Zaninovich.
Hey,
Trent Blair, Cole Lopez, Emily Degnan, Ryan Lally, Lindsay Griffin, Catherine, Didi, Diet. Jeff Williamson, Joseph McClure, Shelby with no last name, Alyssa Mulligan, Danny the Girl, Irene Karpenko, Luke Crow, Maddie Duck 75, not the 74, Corey Ortega, Mark Jackson, the coach, obviously
the
Aaron Dixon. There's a guy on Letterkenny, they call him Dickskin, and I say it to my kids constantly, so now I can't see Dixon without saying Dickskin.
Dickskin?
It's what it is
now.
now.
My kids constantly. That's good. My 10-year-old girl loves it. She just loves it when I call her Dickskin. Get over here, Dickskin. It's very sweet.
I truly say we cooked dinner and I go, baby, get the carrots out of the fridge. She goes, I don't want to. I don't want carrots. And I go, then what do you want? I want asparagus. Well, then get the asparagus, Dickskin. And I just call her Dickskin.
That's good. You don't offer her Dickskin. That's good. See, you're a good dad. You're just calling her
right
that.
to her face.
Better.
Call my 10-year-old Dickskin. Cordell Pringle, Ashley Duvall, Josh Hover, Patrick Berquist, Wade Dreyer, Jenna Tuhey, I think, Paul Connors, Oscar Villarreal, Dr. Stapleton, Erica Allen, Lauren Conway, Wendy D, Dylan Merrill, Paris Clay, Jesse, no way, Seal Carlson. It's not going to happen.
No way.
Josh NG. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's just NG. Is that is it Ing? Oh yeah, there was a serial killer.
Yeah.
Ing. Yes.
Charles.
Laura Tannehill, Jeremy John, Alana with no last name. Also Drew with no last name. Probably same family, right?
Same family. Got no last names from up in Bridgeport. We know them.
Troy Johnson, Derek Lozano, Joshua Birch, Heidi Sullivan, Nancy Burkert, Michael Hartzell, Heather Flo, Carrie Lyons, Amy Folsom, Kim with no last name, Shane Stone, Chris Menton, Chuck Anderson, Matt Amoros, Patrick Raymond, Tom Humphreys, Kirsten, Jan Smark, I don't know. Kyle Pender, Guest, Nicholas Devon, Mr. Pitts, Zach Klingberg, Jared May, Caitlin Gordy, Nolene Furlong, no lean for long. Get it?
No lean for, gotcha.
Yeah. Michelle Taylor, Sarah Tola, Valerie Zellner, Sam Wano, Stephen Hawk, Gretchen Gill, Lisa Ridgway, Kyle Kerber, Pamela Lesser, Chase Poe, Eric Voigt, Dylan Banfield, Ashley Marie Nabel, Sandra Aldridge, Michael Kuehl, Walker Mason, Madison Grout, Ben with no last name, Ryan Roller, Michael Orr, Lauren with no last name, Gianni Frio, Seth with no last name, Daryl Houston, Abby Kreutz, Jessica Dixon, Rudy Hernandez. How are there so many this week?
There's a lot of Dixons this week.
Melanie Fagan, Kevin Costa, Jane Bradley, Vanessa with no last name, Pippa, and also Tisa. Oh boy, that's so many E's. Matthew Hedden, Amanda Cerboni, Stuart, no last name, Paul Robert, Janine Reeser, Krista Tischler, Tiffany Solomon, Kathleen Justick, Kelsey Bertolis, Brooke Milto, Pat Ross, Nick Watson, Sophia Hamilton, Ricky Gator. If you're not in Florida, you're blowing it. Rebecca Richmond, Kenneth Bryan, Portia Ostler, Jarrett Watch, Mitchell Fisher. Oh, and Mitchell has 2 different Patreon accounts. Thank you, Mitchell. You're amazing.
Thank you
Ashley
so much
Turnbow,
for everything.
Chris Bailey, Matt and Nellie Zills, Ben Peterson, Cindy Sherrod, Derek Fleener, Sally Paulson, Philip McNutt, Jack Flowers, and Michelle, holy fuck, Butrimowitz.
Wow, nice.
I apologize, but I do thank you, every last one of you, and all of our patrons. You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, so much for what you do for us. Honestly, we're blown away by it, and we say it all the time that we can't thank you enough, but we really can't thank you enough. We really do try to thank you enough, and rather than, we know we can't thank you enough verbally, so we try to do it with our effort on the shows and on the virtual shows, and on the Patreon shows. Mm-hmm. That's how we try to show our appreciation of shit. Let's just make them double over, hopefully, laughing at these crazy shows.
Right.
And I think that's worth $5. So
honest
that's what we
do. That's what we do, and that's what we're unbelievably grateful for the support that you guys show, and the amount of you that are interested in that. It's staggering, really. And
honestly.
10 years ago when I started comedy, I never would have guessed this many people would give 2 fucks about what I have to say. Or
not a goddamn thing.
It's amazing. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. And what if people wanted to maybe find out how intensely you are intensifying? How could they get a hold of you?
I'm extremely extreme at Whisman Sucks. That's where I'm at. Where are you at?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny. You can Google us. You know how to find it. You look up the show, and then it says we're there, and then it'll follow that.
Right.
You know how to extrapolate all that down the line, just like they do there on the thing that we were just talking about. Just like the conspiracy theorists, you can extrapolate us down the line. So that said, it's been crazy, and next week's episode is way fucked up. So buckle up for that shit. Get ready for it now, and we'll keep coming back again and again and again. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country, who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.